North Star. And the thesis is quite simple. We want to produce high quality, 100% recycled resin. It's virtually indistinguishable from virgin materials. We have improved process economics. It's at the same price point as virgin material. We reduce greenhouse gas emissions with more sustainable material. And because we have improved process economics, we can build smaller footprint plants at the point of plastic waste collection rather than a large regional facility that requires you to truck plastics for 1,000 miles around and very rarely in practice actually runs at full capacity. So this process, I'm showing you the process here for PET. Think any plastic that stands with a #1 symbol, Coke bottles, clamshells, and about 65% of clothing today is polyester. It's the same building block. What we do is we shred this material and put it in hot water. It contains enzymes, water, buffer. And in a 24-hour process, these enzymes act as molecular scissors. They chop up these plastics into chemical monomers that can be recovered and used as a drop-in replacement to manufacture 100% recycled PET. We really fit into the front end of a plastic supply chain where we provide these high-quality recycled monomers, these building blocks that get handed off to plastic manufacturers that manufacture on behalf of consumer brands that are trying to meet corporate sustainability or state legislative mandates. Like if you've heard of SB 54, there's a lot of debate in California right now about what the future of plastic recycling looks like in the state. What's interesting and compelling about our technology is that we compete on price with petrochemical companies. So we've done a lot of work with NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab in Colorado. They've done all of our modeling and have shown that we can manufacture 100% recycled plastic at about $1.60 a kilogram. Today, the mechanically recycled material, that lower quality feedstock, is about $2 a kilogram. Virgin is about $1.90. So we compete on economics while reducing greenhouse gas emissions by more than 70%. I could give a whole talk on the science and kind of how we do this, but I'll give you the brief version. So we really leaned heavily into AI and kind of machine learning models using proteins as a language. And so what we do is we take enzymes that do break down plastics in nature, but they're very slow. Like if you bury a Coke bottle in your backyard, you dig it up in 5 years, it will still be there. But there are enzymes that are slowly breaking this material down. We take them into the lab. We use machine learning models to basically predict how to build a better molecular scissor. We build 1 million different scissors. We test them all and ask the question, which one of these combinations of mutations improve activity, which ones do not? And that becomes training data for a machine learning model. And if you do this iteratively, you can build a higher and higher performing enzyme over time. This is an example where we've taken a PETase, an enzyme that breaks down PET plastic. It was already a best-in-class enzyme when we found it, but we've been able to improve its activity by more than 450-fold. So it's 450 times faster at breaking down this material than when we started. What's interesting is we haven't hit a ceiling. So you can almost think of this like software versions where we can release version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 over time. And every time we build a better version, we further improve the process economics of this recycling process. We haven't just improved the enzymes, we've also improved the recycling process and simplified it. Sorry, it looks like some of the slides got a little bit garbled. So this is an example. We've done a lot of work with Driscoll's and their commercial clamshells. They sell a lot of strawberries and blueberries in the grocery store. Today, there's a lot of money and effort that goes into cleaning plastics, removing the labels, removing all of the impurities, the lids and the wrappers before you melt that material down. That's one of the primary drivers of cost. What we've done is to sort of turn this on its head and say, we actually don't want to remove all of the labels. We don't want to sort of build those expensive wash lines. We can simply shred the material, labels on, put it in a pH-controlled reactor. The enzymes will just liquefy the PET plastic, and the labels and the adhesive pads will simply float away. And we can recover all of the contaminants at the end of the process. And essentially what we've done is we've taken a low-cost, low-purity input and produced a high-value, high-purity output. And the same is true for other contaminants, like you can think of polyethylene, like milk jug lids or Coke bottle lids. We will just break down the PET plastic into just sort of a few tiny remnants, but we can easily remove this contaminant. And this is sort of fundamental to the value proposition. Today, a third of the cost of plastic recycling is feedstock. And this material costs about 10 cents on the dollar compared to like a grade A, perfectly clean bale of plastic. So that's really how we compete with petrochemical companies on cost. We have this scale to a 50-liter reaction. So this here is a 50-liter reactor that has about 10 kilograms or call it 22 pounds of ground up commercial PET in it. We can break this material down in a 24-hour process to more than a 93% yield. And so this, we've exceeded the techno-economics that we need to commercialize this. And so we're scaling this to a 1,000-liter reactor and beyond starting later this year. To sort of give you the kind of the more kind of pop science version of this, let's see, how can I play this? Could you hit play on that for me? So this is what this process looks like, not quite in real time in a time lapse, where you can sort of just imagine this almost like a composting process. This is happening at about 68 degrees Celsius, call it 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where these enzymes will start breaking down these PET clamshells. And then essentially, as it creates more surface area, the process accelerates. And at the end of this process, we have basically two chemical building blocks that are suspended in solution.
Go back to slides.
Yeah, thanks. And these molecules here that we're making, they're called terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol. They are a drop-in replacement for a PET manufacturing process. So these are huge volume chemicals. Terephthalic acid, 80 million tons of it was manufactured last year to manufacture PET plastic. Nearly all of this comes from fossil fuels today. So we are producing a sustainable 100% recycled version of these molecules. And so as we scale, we will start taking market share from these fossil fuel companies since we compete on price, since we meet the regulatory mandates, and it's sort of indistinguishable from the product that they already know and prefer to use. So I mentioned we're scaling this process. The idea here is that we've proven and sort of taken out all of the technical risk at laboratory scale, but now we're moving to a 1 ton per day scale. A commercial bale of plastic is 1 ton, and our industrial customers really want to see our technology work at that scale. So we're going to go end to end at this 1 ton per day process to demonstrate that the techno-economics pencil out at this scale, but also to start producing material for our customers. So we've signed more than $80 million in letters of intent with plastic manufacturers, plastic packaging companies, as well as textile and furniture makers. They're all trying to find more sustainable materials because the consumer brands that they serve are asking them for this, right? For legislative reasons, for customer demand, everyone is trying to find more sustainable things. So to collect on these $80 million in LOIs, we really need to build this 1 ton per day plant. As I mentioned, convert these LOIs to offtake agreements, and then begin our commercialization process. And our revenue moving forward is really gated by our ability to either build these recycling facilities and get to meaningful volume on our own, or in partnership with one of the large recycling or PET manufacturing companies, sort of in a joint venture model would be ideal for us. Moving forward, our sort of revenue generation and profitability is really gated by our ability to build these plants. But I think what's unique about us is that we have really simplified this plastic recycling process. So it is CapEx light, and it enables us to not have to build these facilities that require many years of permitting, engineering, and construction in order to get them up and running. So no doubt, sort of we win as a company. We go to $1 billion by sort of scaling and building more and more of these plants globally. But we have this real opportunity to build a CapEx light company that really serves these market needs. Our future is not just PET packaging, but it's to build out a catalog of enzymes to recycle, not just PET packaging, but textiles, durable goods like furniture, and beyond. And so each of these are massive markets in and of themselves. The PET packaging market is a $38 billion market. Textiles is a polyester just in textiles is a $115 billion market. There's a lot of polyurethane in furniture, elastane in clothing, nylon materials. So these are all sort of unmet needs, in particular in the textile and sort of durable goods spaces. So Birch is led by Emily, Miles, and myself. We're three highly technical entrepreneurs. We have significant experience building other successful startups and commercializing the products of biotechnology. And we're advised by former CEOs of chemical recycling companies and biomanufacturing companies as well, who have sort of raised the capital and built this type of hard tech technology to the past. So we've raised nearly $6.5 million, over $6.5 million now, from folks like the Y Combinator and their funding ecosystem, as well as the Department of Energy, the National Science Foundation, DARPA, people like that. And we're currently raising a $5 million round. And this is really to support commercialization of our technology, and as well as to build out this catalog of enzymes to really sort of expand our TAM, the types of materials that we can recycle. So we've raised about 900K of this so far, both from our primary sort of investor right now is Catapult Ocean, which is a Norwegian fund that's quite interested in the technology and in bringing this to Europe. But we have a couple of lead investors, and we're in very late stage negotiations for a lead for this round. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Valuation on this round?
Valuation, so Catapult just invested at a 20 million pre.
Go ahead, Phil.
How many people do you have right now?
We have 8 people plus a couple of consultants.
And so what are they doing? Is it mostly chemists or?
Yeah, so we're really sort of deep in process development right now. So we've built that sort of enzyme, the high performance enzyme. But right now we're working on building a circular process, basically that allows us to reuse the enzyme, the water, sort of that whole matrix to minimize wastewater treatment at the end of the process, and sort of maximizing the recovery and purification on the downstream. So that's the chemical engineering part of it.
Scaling up production is a lot different skill set than research. Are you saying you're gonna be in charge of scaling up?
Yeah, so we'll hire a manufacturing. So we have a couple of friends of the company, right, that are interested in jumping ship, and will lead that effort moving forward. So I'm not the guy to build the plant.
And if I understood, you got a plastic bottle with a label on it, and the enzymes are gonna tear the bottle apart, and the label will just float out or fall to the bottom or something?
Yeah, so we can like sieve that out, or there's some other sort of separation technologies that we can use, like low cost technologies to remove those contaminants.
That's my duty.
Okay, James then Hans.
In traditional plastic recycling, you could only recycle once, maybe twice. Can your technology recycle plastic multiple times?
Yeah, I mean, we call this an infinite plastic recycling technology, which is a fancy word, but this all happens at low temperature. And so we're not sort of damaging, like you basically caramelize, or when you mechanically recycle plastic, it often smells like you burned it. It's got this odor. And so we don't have any of those problems. And so we maintain it. We're not oxidizing or sort of otherwise chemically transforming those molecules. So it stays a high quality feedstock. And you can turn the crank, 10, 20 more times on that material.
Where does your technology come from?
Yeah, so it's all in-house. So we've I've worked at 3 companies now that have gone public and sort of basically this field of synthetic biology. So we basically found enzymes. We did our own bioprospecting. Like we literally went to plastic contaminated environments, auto wrecking yards, ditches, beaches, collected enzymes, found enzymes that work well, and then sort of went from there. So everything has been developed in-house. We haven't licensed the technology from a university.
And if you compare your recycled plastic to virgin plastic, what's the difference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've done some testing with one of, I guess, the top 4 PET manufacturers in the world, and so far they have not. There's no distinguishable difference, right? So the material coming in, right? They score it for like yellowness, like what is basically the quality of the material? How pure is it? Does it have any contaminating metals? things like that. And so we've been able to show that we meet that standard, and then they can polymerize that material and show that it produces high molecular weight, like sort of commercial quality, food grade quality plastic.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go online real quick. George?
Yeah, I love that you've got a price advantage over virgin material. I'm curious, to get to break even quickly, who are your first customers, and can you charge a premium over virgin material because you are recycling?
Yeah, it's a good question. So like our biggest champion right now is Driscoll's. So they're a private company. They have a much higher internal kind of standard for minimum recycled content than the Procter and Gamble's and the other kind of big consumer brands. And so they're I'd say hell-bent on sort of trying to sort of demonstrate that you can actually. So what they're trying to do is avoid somebody that comes in and says you can't use these PET clamshells. Nobody wants to buy strawberries in a suspect looking container, and nobody wants to go back to the old green quart boxes. And so they're really trying to show this path for recyclability and sustainability of those thermoformed plastic clamshells, because right now very few of them are recycled nationally. So they basically have the biggest pain point. And yeah, it's fair. Like, I mean, every CEO that I've talked to has said, like, you know, you'll be lucky to get a 10% green premium on this, right? But yeah, the question is, like, you know, we talked to the Chanel's and the L'Oreal's, like it's the I call them bougie, but like the cosmetics companies, right? That are less price sensitive. Like those, the more of those kind of like higher end types of companies with larger margins, that whose customers fundamentally care about this problem. Like that's where we want to go.
Thanks.
Okay, Jeff, then I'll come back.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Quick question on your IP. So I know it's developed in-house, like you said, but what is it that you actually own? Do you own the enzyme? Do you own the process to get the enzymes to like, does this become a platform for 3, 4, 5 new enzymes? How do you prevent the competition? Because I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a very complex process to steal, right? Is if you can source the enzyme. So that's kind of what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, for sure. So we have IP around the engineered improvements to the enzymes so far for both PET, polyester, and polyurethane. Basically the data generation of droplet microfluidics, this ability to kind of screen in bulk many large billions of variants of enzymes to feed machine learning models is proprietary, and that's actually quite important. This ability, we essentially make snow globes of tiny plastic particles in these tiny 20 micron droplets. And we can measure very quantitatively how much plastic has been eaten in each. And so that's basically bulk big data generation for machine learning models. We don't compete on sort of, we build foundation models, like DARPA funded us to build basically like the ChatGPT version for protein design. But like the Facebooks and the OpenAIs, like their models will always be better. Like they're sort of changing month over month. And so we're not really trying to build our own kind of AI systems, but what we do is provide this like layer of data. And I think what's unique for us, right, and why people can't copy us is the more data that we generate, the better our enzymes become. And there's transfer learning. Like basically we're teaching, like these enzymes don't exist in nature. We're teaching these enzymes how to break down foreign or synthetic or xenobiotic molecules. And so
so there's no way that they could fundamentally just steal your enzyme per se.
Yeah, they can't. Just because like they would have to go through the whole learning process and build the data to build the data set to be able to do that. And that's I think the hard thing. And so like the reason that DoD is interested in this is they have a lot of like long-lived synthetic molecules that sort of end up in Superfund sites, or if you think of PFAS or forever chemicals, these long-lived materials all clash with these molecules. And like this technology, we can teach enzymes basically how to break them down.
And it's been patented, or is it patent applied?
So we have PCT applications pending for all of them.
Okay, thank you.
The patents have not yet issued.
Okay, Laura.
Yeah, thank you, John. Good presentation. 2 questions. One is, there's already competitors in the market, Loop Industry, Cabios, or Protein Evolution, a US company. Are you better than them? And can you fight them because they're already in the market, already play? Second question, you have an $80 million letter of intent in your presentation. If you can elaborate a little bit on it.
Yeah, so like Protein Evolution exited the space. They could not raise their round because their process was not good enough. Carbios is in a tailspin right now. Their capital partner pulled out for their commercial scale facility. They're at 2 to 3x the market price at scale. Right, so we have better enzymes, better process. Like they have, there's a lot of systemic problems, and so they exist because they have a very healthy subsidy from the EU and the French government. But they would not, like they may not exist kind of moving forward. And so the $80 million in letters of intent, and it's sort of part of that is just like we're in this moment right now where Asia is oversupplying the PET in the market, right? And so the price is low with the tariffs and sort of some of the wonkiness of global trade today. There's just this delta between the price of virgin and sustainable, and the classic thing is happening, which is consumer brands, they want to use sustainable materials, but their CFO says like, no, you have to use the virgin material just because like it materially matters because the price is so the spread is so great right now. The $80 million, one of them is with the world's largest PET manufacturer, right? And they're, once we demonstrate this at 1 ton per day scale, they'll co-develop this technology with us. And the perfect idea is like, we're the Intel inside for one of the world's major PET manufacturers, right? Where they already have the intake and the offtake agreements. They just, we essentially license the technology to them and then sort of build better enzymes over time. And that way, it's CapEx light, it's, permitted facilities, it's the fastest way to commercialization. But then, like Driscoll's is one, Sunoco, which is a $2 billion like food contact plastic packager, like all of their customers, for ESG reasons, like basically Whole Foods will sort of talk to these produce companies, right? And sort of say like, you have to use more sustainable materials. Like, what is your plan, right? And like, nobody has a plan or nobody knows where that material is coming from.
So Johan, maybe another one, is it an annual recurring revenue, and is it 2026 and thereafter?
Yeah, so that $80 million is, it's basically for either the monomers, the chemical building blocks, or for the resin itself. And so like like I'm going to Germany next month, like to potentially sign a partnership with a toll manufacturer because it's like it's not quite vertical integration, but we want to be able to, we can sell if we own the resin, then we can sort of, we extract more of a premium for that. And so then we can, our market opportunity increases because most of the customers want resin, they don't want monomers. And there's really only maybe 10 companies in the world that would buy monomers from us. Thank you.
Okay, you have 4 minutes left and we have 4 more people raise their hands, so we gotta wrap
I'll
it
keep it
up.
short.
Matt,
I'm a little confused. Are you licensing the technology, or you're gonna actually physically build plants that are recycling centers?
Yeah, so we're going to build the first plant ourselves because it's a first of a kind facility, and that's really, we have to own that and sort of control that process. I think if we can get project financing for this, in the Biden administration, we would have been a lot more capital available for us. But we have the opportunity to either to do both. To probably in the U.S. we'll vertically integrate and build our own facilities. We'll license ex-US. I think.
So if you're building the facilities, what do you need the real estate, you need power, permits, what's the time frame? What's the cost? What's the return on the investment?
Yeah, so it's a 2-year process to really turn call it a 7 kiloton plant, right, which is 20 tons a day. Basically, I'm talking to folks in Oregon, Washington, California for site selection now, right? But yeah, there is, when you permit a new facility, that's sort of the biggest wild card, I think.
So 2 years, and what's the cost, and how long will it?
Yeah, so it's about a $13-15 million price tag for a 7 kiloton facility is what we have it pegged out right now. And so the margins on that, like as we get that up to speed, right, we're looking at 20-25% margins once that's running at capacity, which is pretty good for a commodity chemical company.
So you're gonna do another raise?
There will be another raise after this for sure. But I mean, obviously, like our technology works. Like one of the big PET manufacturers, like will try and buy us, right? But there's a sort of question of like, how do we extract the most value for the technology that we built? This is a massive kind of global opportunity, and we want to sort of realize this vision of really building a big, impactful company where we can sort of keep building solutions for other products that are in recycled today.
Just a quick follow-up, besides the raise, you're gonna be financing these projects, you're gonna take on debt?
Yeah, so we'll use like classic project financing for these.
Okay, Tony, I saw your hand raised online. Are you, gone?
No, I'm still here. If you
Okay.
have time, I'll ask the question. How
Go
does
ahead.
how does the product purity, the quality compare to that of the various applications which you would use the virgin material in? Have you gone through and done an analysis by application and confirmed that you are at or better than the quality that the players are currently utilizing?
Yeah, so we have shown, right, sort of, we've used third parties to repolymerize this material and have shown in terms of like intrinsic velocity rather, and sort of some of the color, other quality metrics that we meet the basic requirements for both like thermoforming, right, and bottle applications. We haven't sort of gone through extensive testing. There's different manufacturing processes for like a soft drink bottle, right, versus a plastic clamshell, which is more brittle. And so we haven't, fully exhausted kind of all of those tests. So those are still in progress and will start happening as we have more volume and material to test moving forward.
Okay, thanks, Johan.
You got it.
Yeah, it's just a quickie. Why do you think you would succeed in your technology? What's the unique technology secret sauce that makes you better than protein, which has had problems, or Carbios, which you say is on the decline?
Yeah.
Why do we, hate to say it so bluntly, but why would we believe in your science versus anyone else who's out there?
Yeah, I think, we have this advantage of being called a fast follower, right? Where Carbios is a public company. They've been around for 13 years. You can look at the stock price and you can read all their public reports. And I can tell you exactly where they went wrong. And I talked to.
I want to know why they went wrong. Why would you succeed?
Yeah, and so we've addressed those major deficiencies. We have a better enzyme. So it's really about kind of cost, and we have a simple front end. We've made it stupid simple. All you do is grind plastic, throw in a tank, add our enzymes, and then kind of recover and purify the materials. In the recovery and purification, there's also IP where you basically you can basically recover and reuse all of those components. And so it's taken us 4 years to get here, and people will say like, well, why did it take so long? It's like, because we had to, call it an 8-headed monster. You can't just build an enzyme and say like, ta-da, like we're done. We had to go end to end in the process. And so that's what makes it sticky, I think, and that's what makes it hard to replicate. I think, but fundamentally it was like 20% gain here, 20% here, 20% here, 20% here. That's how we did it.
But we're out of time. Hans, 30 seconds.
How do you justify 20 million P with no heavy fuel and just an idea?
Yeah, so we have investors in Europe, right, that just sort of signed on those terms, and we have lead investors that are not, they haven't given us the term sheet yet, that are not balking at those terms. So that is considered a reasonable valuation from their perspective at today's market economy. So it's just a huge sort of opportunity to kind of build a billion-dollar company, right? It's a huge problem in the world. Everybody wants this problem solved. And there's a lack of good solutions. And so that's what supports the valuation.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're out of time now. That was really good.
I'm gonna stay
Yeah,
for
we
lunch.
can
So,
hang around. Yes,
we can chat more.
yes, please. Okay, next online, we have Barry Kinnan with neurosomnias.
Hey Barry, can you hear us? Barry, can you hear us okay? We cannot hear you, sir.
You are muted.
Hi, everybody.
Barry.
Hi,
Welcome to TCA. You have 12 minutes for presentation and 12 minutes for Q&A, just like the pre-screening. And let us know the evaluation by the end of your presentation, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
that's good. can I ask if you're seeing this in presenter mode or
I don't think it's in presenter mode.
it is or it isn't? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, it isn't presenter mode?
It's like a third of the screen.
Is that better?
Yes.
There it is.
You're good now.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. Well, yeah, thanks for inviting me back. I'm Barry Keenan, founder of Neurosomnics. So Neurosomnics, the system is a neuromodulation and a digital health device. I'll not go into the digital health side of it too much, but based on the data we're recording, there is quite profound opportunity for a digital health platform, and we can actually determine how effective the therapies has been, whereas other devices throughout the night cannot do that. So we're treating obstructive sleep apnea with a non-invasive device. So obstructive sleep apnea, one of the major phenotypes is when there's a loss of neural drive and there's a failure to innervate the upper airway muscles that keep the airway open, and consequently the tongue falls back into the airway, and also the soft palate can fall and can collapse in there as well, and causes the obstruction. So the seriousness is, it cannot be overstated. There's many. This is only a few of the comorbidities associated with sleep apnea, but there are many more, and in particular heart disease, which is the #1 killer in the US right now. So the treatment for sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, is CPAP. Now CPAP works, and it works for all severity types. However, it's very, very poorly tolerated, and over the years it's gotten smaller, less noisy. It's still very poorly tolerated. I like this picture because looks like someone that's been kicked out of bed because partners don't tolerate it either, and he's sleeping on the sofa. So there's at the very least there's a 40% non-adherence rate. Now, oral appliance therapy is one of the non-PAP therapies, and I wear one of the devices myself. It's very well tolerated, except the efficacy is more in the mild to moderate segment. It has a very low responder rate, so less than 60% responder rate. And it's really for people that have snoring and mild apnea. So it's not really going to cover the range of people in the moderate to severe category that really need it. And therefore, if you're in that category and you can't tolerate CPAP, which is nearly 1 in 2 people, your only alternative right now is having a very invasive implant. So this is the Inspire device on the left and the Nyxoah device on the right. They're the two implants that are on the market. Nyxoah got FDA approved recently. This is very invasive surgery. Even the responder rate is less than 70%. So even after getting this surgery, you may have a device that doesn't treat you well enough, and people are now going to dual therapy, where they've got an implanted device and they're also got an oral appliance. The system we're developing can actually do both, and that's an important feature. These implants are very expensive, but they also have a very, very high serious adverse event rate. I could go into details on the many. If you look at the MAUDE database, there are FDA's database, there are many. So the serious adverse event rate is nearly 10%, which is very serious. Our device is non-invasive. It's this device here on the left is what one of the devices we're using for clinical testing. So it attaches to an amplifier and stimulator, a whole system. But the product we'll go to market with will be fully integrated. So all the electronics will be built into the oral appliance. So this device here on the left has an upper and a lower part. So the lower parts where we're doing the neural stimulation, the hypoglossal nerve stimulations, that's a non-invasive stimulation that without having to have an implant. And you can do dual therapy by adding an upper piece which locks in and pulls your chin and your jaw forward. So you're getting that dual therapy, which is a percentage of the population really need now because the implants aren't working for them. So how this works is we're doing a lot of sensing. And this picture on the right is a compound motor action potential. So we can tell exactly by measuring the various muscles in the upper airway, and we can tell which muscle is being innervated. And that's really important because if you innervate the wrong muscle, you will actually retract the tongue. We want to protrude the tongue, and so we can determine exactly what part of the muscle is being innervated, and there's so much wealth of information that comes from that. You can determine if a muscle's being fatigued, if there's atrophy, if there's if your conditioning is worsening over time. And we do this by by being able to measure exactly where we're innervating non-invasively. We move electric fields around until we can get the optimal titration. So that's where we get the best, the best expansion of the airway. And this is all we had our first patent approved recently. And all 22 claims accepted, and we've a PCT and another provisional that we've submitted and we're working on to convert. So this is an example of the therapy. If you look at the top trace is flow. That's airflow. This is a combination of some of the sensors from the device and the Philips Alice at-home sleep test. So the flow sensor is from the Philips system. And what you're seeing here is that the large amplitudes, these are arousals from sleep. And the quiet period before those large amplitude arousals is a sleep apnea event. The temperature sensor here, as also shown at the bottom, is part of our device. And the SpO2 is your blood oxygen saturation level. So when it drops more than 3%, you've had a sleep apnea event. So you can see here that there was actually 18 sleep apnea events here within a 15-minute or within a 15-minute period. And then you can see the gray period, the gray area, shaded area. That's when stimulation is turned on, and then the other side is stimulation when it's turned off. And you can see all the apnea events come back. So you can see all these oxygen desaturations. If you look at the snore sensor, that's part of the Alice system. It's not really snoring; it's more choking because these are all apnea events. But you can clearly see now that those events all go away when you turn on your stimulation. And then the bottom trace is our respiratory sensor, which actually zooms in on the gray period. So you can see you've got clear breathing here, stationary breathing. So I think the point is here, you've got a lot of events. Turn on stimulation, they go away. You turn off stimulation, they come back. So it's a very, very big market. It's based on, total addressable market is based on 30 million, but it's really more like 60 million. And I'll show you ResMed believe it's going to be 77 million in the near future. We have here that the serviceable market is actually bigger than the CPAP user market, but that's what the CPAP user market is, and this will be an alternative to CPAP. And the service obtainable market, this is the 3 million patients that are in the moderate to severe category that cannot tolerate CPAP. So an MAD device, the mandibular advancement device, oral appliance device isn't enough for them. So these are the people that have no therapy. They're in desperate need of therapy. They're at risk of comorbidities, but they've no therapy. So this for just 2/3 penetration into the market of people that have no therapy is would be 400 million, and that's 80,000 patients. And actually, to get to that, we have it set at 5 years, but we believe that 4 or 5 technicians alone will be able to get you to 30,000 patients. So our target customer is the sleep physician and the ENT, and they will work with the dentist to have the appliance developed. We're looking at a price of about 5K, which is 90% margin. And based on comps, the resale value, from the doctor's office and the hospitals will be probably about 8K. And based on some of our comps, like Notrix Health, who are a neuromodulation company for sleep apnea for restless leg syndrome, I mean, their physicians charge 7,500, and they're getting reimbursement well over 5K. So we believe we'll be, at least better than that. Said before, very, very big market, 425 million worldwide, moderate to severe. ResMed saying that's coming to about 77 million in the next few years. So ResMed are the market leaders with CPAP. Inspire Medical, they're a $1 billion company now, and they were the only implant, but now Nexo is following, and there's many oral appliance companies out there. So this is a $1 million raise, and we're waiting on grant money written on our phase 2 for NSF grant. We've also applied for NIH money, but with 500,000, it will get us to our MVP. And that'll be early next year, and we'll be doing some feasibility work, and we'll be able to start a pivotal trial before the end of next year, as long as the feasibility work goes well. At which point we'll have our Series A will be a $5 million raise. We believe we'll have at the very least a 3x evaluation on that, based on having the MVP, the patents, and the clinical data. And we will look for an exit, of course, following the pivotal trial. So we have a good team here. I've taken many devices to market. Artificial pancreas. Myself and Gino here are doing mostly development work. Great clinical people I've worked with before, working very closely with patent attorneys on the IP. Brilliant advisory board team from St. Johns Hopkins, Mayo. Dr. Hammond here is the 5th biggest provider of mandibular advancement devices. I mentioned we've applied for an NIH grant, $3 million NIH grant. So we're going to do our clinical work with the Harvard folk. They're one of the best sleep researchers in the world. So Harvard and Brigham's Women's Hospital is where we'll get through most of our clinical work, our early stuff. So the raise is 1 million, and that'll take us to Series A, where we'll plan to begin a pivotal trial. A minimum of 100K will get us over the line to get phase 2 of the NSF grant, which is $1.25 million. So there's many exits I could compare it to, but ResMed have acquired 15 companies. They're probably the most likely exit, and also Zoll are now acquiring sleep companies, and we have. I'm speaking to both of them. I have a second call with ResMed. I know them from way back, so that's going well. Zoll have expressed interest in participating in the Series A when we're ready for pivotal trial. So we're excited about the conversations going on there. And of course, there's Medtronic and the big three. Thanks.
Sylvia,
So did you already do the first in human? How have you tested?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't understand you too well.
Have you tested the technology yet?
Oh yes, we as part of the our NSF grant, we developed 12 prototypes. So I've been working with Dr. Hammond that I showed you there in the advisory board. So she's a 5th biggest provider of mandibular advancement devices. So I worked with her and her digital dentist on developing prototypes. So we developed over 12 prototypes, iterating them each time, and we're at the stage we're doing overnight studies. And so that was some of the data I showed you there. Was that's from me actually. I have moderate to severe OSA, so I've been learning a lot and collecting data. And so the devices we've been developing they hook up to my instrumentation system, where I'm measuring like 12 channels of EMG, of other sensors in there. I have an algorithm that determines when to stimulate and how much to stimulate, because I do auto titration, so it's like personalized medicine. You titrate to stimulate where and at the amplitude that's best for you. And we really ticked all the boxes for the phase 1 NSF grant, which was getting into overnight studies. It's only one patient right now, but we've been able to demonstrate that the technology works, and also the 12 prototypes that we developed, and I can show you pictures of them. It's nice. It goes from crude to elegant, but we've iterated it based on comfort as well, because that is really one of the key things. Is it's not just about having an efficacious and safe therapy. I mean, yeah, it has to be. Patients have to adhere to it, because that's the problem with CPAP.
I have someone on the line.
Yeah, Stephen.
Oh, yeah, Steve, go ahead, Steven.
Yep. So Barry, is it just a mouthpiece or is it actually a bite block with hypoglossal nerve stimulation?
It can be either. So it's just the lower part, and so the sensing, the closed loop
Oh, right.
therapy is all happening on the oral floor. So we're doing hypoglossal nerve stimulation, but we can
Okay.
move the fields around now. With all the key opinion leader sleep doctors I talked to, they all said to me, "Could you not do dual therapy?" Because now people with hypoglossal nerve with the Inspire device, they have the chronic implant. It's not good enough for them, so they're now going to sleep dentists and getting them mandibular advancement device also. So we actually have two prototypes of the dual therapy. Where if you don't want to do dual therapy and it's nice and comfortable, doesn't pull your jaw forward, you can just do the bottom piece. But if you want to do dual therapy, if you need that to get the better efficacy, you just have the upper piece with a couple of fins and you just hook onto it.
Okay, yeah,
So
that
it
makes
pulls it
sense.
forward.
Makes sense. Okay, and then in terms of the hypoglossal nerve stim, this theoretically looks like it's going to be as good as current, if not hopefully better. And it's comfortable in terms of the shock, I guess, or the stimulation.
Yeah, great question. It's I hope at a minimum it's comparable because at least that's good enough. Now, I honestly think it'll be better because I'm stimulating on both sides, and I'm also using optimized titration. So I'm looking at the amplitude of the compound motor action potential. So I know exactly how much how much energy I'm putting in. So Nexoa does stimulate on both sides also. Inspire doesn't, so I think it'll at least be better than Inspire. In terms of the sensation, it's interesting that you even the Inspire patients have that sensation, the paresthesia, the pins and needles. So you do have some of that. It doesn't bother me, to be honest. But obviously there could be a percentage of patients that don't like any type of stimulation. So what I'm doing is I can reduce it so that it's a minimum and it's at least to me it's not bothersome. However, what I'm doing, and I don't have this slide, I can show it to you, or I can send it to you if you like. I'm actually measuring neural drive. So I have a surrogate measure for neural drive. So what happens is, and it's based on the genioglossus muscle signal, and so I'm measuring the tonic EMG. So I can tell when there's a loss of neural drive. And when there's a loss of neural drive, then you start getting events. And so what I want to do, one thing I learned, I've developed an implantable hypoglossal nerve stimulator before at the Alfred Mann Foundation. And I know from talking to many patients over the years, one of the things they don't like about the Inspire device is you turn it on 30 minutes before you go to sleep. And so what happens if you're not asleep in 30 minutes, your tongue starts to protrude. So that it's annoying. And then if you wake up in the middle of the night, your tongue's protruding. It's not just not
Okay.
it's
No,
not a good
I
thing.
get it, Barry. That makes sense, and you might even use some software to kind of really automate some of this process. Okay, I'll yield the floor. Thank you. Yeah.
But actually, what I'm doing is I don't stimulate until there's a loss of neural drive. So you're always sleeping. My intent is I never want the patient to feel therapy. I never want them to feel the pins and needles. Only I call it stimulation on demand.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you. Jeff. Online.
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask, what about the data that you're collecting? The the secondary visit back to the doctor so he can see what's going on and make sure things are working. How are you planning on collecting that data from the device? And then secondly, if you could just answer how it's powered and how often it would need to be recharged and what you're thinking there.
So we have the fully integrated design done, and I've done all the power management calculations, and I use a very small coin cell battery. It really doesn't use much energy at all, and the design will be that so you would charge every day. So you take it out in the morning, you put it on a charging station. It would be charged through RF charging. And when you do that, that's when you will upload the data. So the data will be uploaded to a PC, and that's how you would integrate the whole digital health piece. Now, the data being uploaded is it's all the EMG data, and there's temperature data as well that gives you the respiratory waveform. That's you can retrospectively calculate that your apnea-hypopnea index really well through that. But what we've scoped out in the design that's going to take about 6 months is to include an SpO2 sensor. And with that, that'll give us very accurately, what the AHI is. But more importantly, and this is part of the IP, is even with the temperature sensor alone, you can clearly see there's no breathing and you've got an apnea event. So you can see when you've missed an apnea event. And if you miss the apnea event, none of the other devices can do that. You can have a look and see why. Do you need to raise the set point for the stimulation, or is there something else? And you can update parameter values to optimize the therapy, because it changes over time. You may put on weight or lose weight, and your AHI will fluctuate. You don't need the same amount of energy. There are various other things. I also I measure posture. So if you've got positional sleep apnea, I won't stimulate when you're on your side, for example.
Nice. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, so very interesting, and I like the fact that it's a novel approach, but there are two other ones that are doing something similar. So I'd like to understand how you fare relative to either the Genio system or the Zeus system.
So the Genio, it's implanted. So that's the one I showed you actually from Nexoa, which has the and actually it is I mean, I know advisors in there, and with their company, the surgery is brutal. It really is. And if you look at the clinical trial results, they I mean, they're good. I mean, they're like a 68% reduction or something like that. But they have a 9% serious adverse event rate, and that's just in the clinical trial data, their pivotal trial that they submitted to the FDA. Plus, they don't start. You can't turn therapy on until 2 to 4 months after surgery. So.
What about the system is similar to yours? That's being used out in London, from what I understand.
Oh, that's the one that's you stimulate during the day to increase muscle tone?
Yes, I don't know if it's HNS, but it's TENS. So there may be a little different, but how does that compare?
So I personally, I think it's a lot of placebo effect in theirs. I mean, what they stimulate for 20 minutes a day, maximum stimulation, so it actually hurts a lot of people. I've tried it. I mean, it's painful, and what they're trying to do is increase muscle tone. So that's more for snoring and mild apnea. If you have severe apnea, I mean, it's if you get severe apnea, you're never going to build up the muscle tone to, or the genioglossus muscle.
Yours is really dedicated to middle to severe, mild to severe.
Yeah, so mild, all the way from mild to severe. And I think that the beachhead market will be the severe people, the moderate to severe people that can't handle CPAP. So they have one choice: either get an implant. Well, they have one choice: get an implant, and nobody wants to have a pacemaker
and
device.
Where are you, one final quick question: where are you trialing this now, if at all?
So it's right. So I'm doing it's all at-home studies. So I have an IRB, and it's right now it's only been myself. So I'm doing a bunch of testing on myself. I got a pretty high AHI. Now, as soon as we get funding, I'm going to do it at Harvard. Harvard. Well, it's going to be Brigham Women's Hospital, and they've probably got. I think personally, I think they're the best sleep lab in the world. They're still doing that serious research. That really digging into it, and the two professors I'm working with have a lot of experience with the Inspire implanted device. And so some of the study, we applied for a $3 million NIH grant. So fingers crossed we get that to do some outcome studies. But what we're going to do, we're going to look at sleep architecture and see if that, and do a lot of titration studies.
How much are you asking? What's the ask and the valuation or the deal structure again?
So I'm looking for a safe note or convertible. So the safe 6 million valuation. With a 20%, so 6 million cap with a 20% discount, and I'm looking to raise 1 million, and that 1 million will take me to pivotal trial stage, and
Thank
well
you.
beyond that actually with with the grant money.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
I have a question
Thanks,
for you.
Elizabeth.
You have a picture of the device looking a little bit kind of like a denture looking, and you have all the chips planted in it. So does that mean this is like a molded custom device, or is it generic that anybody can just slap it on?
But it's a good question. So it's it won't, certainly this version won't be generic. It'll be the dentist will do a scan, and it'll be fit to their structure. And the reason for that is if you did probably the boil and bite of, I might have looked into that, obviously that would be great. Problem is if you overstimulate, you could pull it out. And so that's definitely something I'll investigate. Certainly, if you're going to do the dual therapy, you do need to go to a dentist and get fitted because you're pulling the jaw forward, and you want to make sure it's secure.
So it could be kind of like an individualized prescription.
Yeah, it'll be prescription-based device. Actually, the clinical workflow will be very similar to that of oral appliance therapy with the mandibular advancement device. You'll get it's called an iTero scanner. The sleep dentist does the scan, and then they send it to the manufacturer who develops the device. We integrate, so we can either 3D print it ourselves, which we've been doing, or we can partner with the mandibular advancement device manufacturers, because their margins are very low. It's only $500 to have this printed by them. With such a with a device like this, the margins will still be at least 85% by doing that. So it might be a simpler approach, and then we integrate the electronics. But certainly it'll be individualized at the beginning, and it may be difficult to get away from that. But ideally, it would be great at some point to be able to make it more generic for sure.
So is your cost going to be comparable to CPAP?
Yeah, they are. They're very comparable. CPAP is about it's about between $1,500 and $2,000 per year. That's renting a device and then all your consumables. And so we're looking at about 5,000. So they're about 4,500 to 6,000 over 3 years. So it will be very comparable, which is a fraction of what the Inspire Medical device is.
We're running almost out of time, and I have 2 people with questions, so it's going to be 30-second each rapid fire. Nancy.
Okay, I understand with the new administration, it's very hard to get grants. What's your backup plan if you don't get it?
Yeah, I know. That's been disappointing. I'm quite confident about the NSF grant because I hit all the boxes, ticked all the boxes. We have good data. It's been a very, very successful phase 1. If we get absolutely none of that, the $1 million will still take us to a Series A. We may have to really cut back and be careful on the feasibility work, but we get so we may not be able to do as many patients on the feasibility phase, but I can get the NPV with 500, just under 600,000, and so the other 400,000 is going into operations and you're doing some feasibility work.
Alton, go ahead.
So with the device, and it has sensors in there, so it's sensitive stuff. What happens with people that are clenchers and grinders, that grind their teeth, clench their jaws? Is it going to affect your device?
It's another very good question. I'm a grinder, so I have bruxism as well. You actually generally with these devices, there's different materials you can use for people that do grind, and they're just a bit more durable. The other ones may not last. You know, this is meant to be a 3-year device, and the you can there's like nylon now, which is incredibly light, but it may break if you have bruxism. But it's I mean it's not gonna affect. I mean it could affect potentially some of the signals, but I don't think it'll affect the therapy in any way.
Alrighty, Barry, we're out of time. Thank you so much for your presentation. One of us will get back to you in 2 days.
Okay.
Listen to
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Next presenter, Adam Gold, with Moonrise Medical.
Hey, Adam, can you hear us? You're on mute, sir.
My
Good
bad.
morning, Adam.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, welcome to TCA. You have 12 minutes for presentation, 12 minutes for Q&A. And talk about your deal turn at the end, so we know where your valuation is and such. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you again for having me here. I'm Adam Gold. I'm the CEO of Moonrise Medical. And we are working to eliminate what's come to be known as the amputation epidemic. So just some numbers. Throughout the world, a limb is lost every 30 seconds. In the US alone, that's over 500 amputations every single day. And 40% of those amputations occur without even getting the proper diagnosis. So they're going straight to amputation without even figuring out how or why this happened. Minorities are 2 times as likely to get an amputation than the general population. And this is really a downward spiral. Once these patients get an amputation, their 5-year mortality rate is only 50%, which is actually worse than all cancers combined. So the leading cause of this, far and away, is peripheral vascular disease and diabetes. Essentially, what happens is there's arteries in the leg that get clogged, and it prevents the blood flow from getting down to the foot. When this happens, the foot is not perfused properly. The patient winds up getting wounds on their feet that don't heal. And when those wounds don't heal, they become infected, they get gangrenous, and it leads to amputation. So one of the biggest problems in this area is that the tools used to assess these wounds are really outdated and inaccurate. What they really want to know is there enough blood flow for these wounds to heal? And so when a patient comes into the clinic, they want to know, does this patient need an intervention? Because if we get it wrong and we send them home, next time they come back, they may need an amputation because they didn't get proper treatment. On the flip side, if we admit them to the hospital, it becomes a very expensive problem because we're monitoring and testing and watching these wounds for quite some time. And so for those patients that actually do get into the cath lab to get an intervention to open up those arteries in the leg, the physicians are faced with another problem. They want to know, how many of these arteries do I need to open up in order to establish enough blood flow? Because right now they're using fluoroscopy, and that's just qualitative. So they want to know, how many blockages do I need to open up for this wound to heal? And so my co-founder, Jill Somerset, set about to figure this out, and she made a discovery that if you use ultrasound and you look at the blood flow and the arteries of the foot feeding the wound, there's a velocity waveform, which is shown, I don't know if you can see my cursor here, but a measurement of the trough to the peak of systole within that measurement of the waveform is called pedal acceleration time, or PAT. And PAT is actually correlated with wound healing. And this is such an important discovery because what it means is patients can come in and get a scan and we can direct their treatment. And then in the cath lab, they can open up an artery and using the same technique in real time can determine whether they need to open up another artery or another one until they're confident that wound is going to heal. And so this isn't just some obscure academic research. This is something that's now been published in 20 plus peer-reviewed journals. It's on all of the podium presentations at the vascular conferences. It has 100 plus KOLs and supporters, but there's a problem. And the problem is that these are tiny arteries with low flow. And so essentially you need to be a vascular sonographer to do this. And they're too few and far between to do all of these scans. It's become a bottleneck. And so what we're doing is we're developing an automated system so you don't have to be a highly trained vascular sonographer. You can be a nurse, a tech, someone with just a little bit of training can actually do these scans. And our system consists, it's hardware and software. So it's a cart-based system. It's got a probe specific to the foot. And then the secret sauce is in all of the automation. And I have a little video here that just kind of, it's an animation because the actual video, it does it much quicker than your eye can see. So this kind of slows it down. So it asks the user which foot is the wound on, and then where's the wound. And based on that, it tells the user, place the probe in this area because we know the artery is going to be there for that wound. And then they have to move it left and right slightly to get it into the window. But once that happens, all the automation kicks in. So the software finds the arterial flow. It has to distinguish that between the venous flow. And then it does everything a sonographer would do. It starts steering the beam. It places the Doppler gate in the center of pulsatility. It measures the angle of the vessel, which it needs for angle correction. It automatically switches over to the waveform, and then it takes the measurements off of the waveform and displays the pedal acceleration time up top. So from a user's perspective, all they're really doing is placing it on the foot and moving it slightly, and then the system does the rest. So this is our clinical system that we have right now you can see in the background on the table. And we do about every other week we're in the clinic. But two of the important studies that we've done so far, the first one was 6 non-clinicians with 5 minutes of training, and they were successfully able to find the arteries in 48 out of 50 times. And then we did another trial where we took patients that actually had peripheral arterial disease. We took 2 medical receptionists which had no training. We gave them 30 minutes of training, and they found it 23 out of 25 times. So we're able to show that with a little bit of training, the users can use the system, and the system algorithms themselves can identify and find the arteries and report the readings. These are just a few quotes from some vascular surgeons and interventional radiologists that we let them demo the system. I won't read through all of them, but groundbreaking technology, game changer, device has to be in every vascular clinic in the cath lab, and I'm blown away by what we can do with this technology. So they seem to share our excitement. And I think a lot of why people get excited about this is not just that it's a cool toy, but it gives readings of what they actually want to know for better care, but it also has value for everyone within all of the stakeholders. So because this is ultrasound, it actually does have established reimbursement. And so for the vascular, the wound, and the podiatry clinics, this is a new revenue stream. For the interventionalists who make their money on the procedures, this is a way to increase their patient funnel, get the right patients at the right time for their procedures. Emergency departments can do fast and accurate triage. These are expensive patients, so healthcare systems and payers are very invested in having better outcomes. And we actually did a small pilot trial showing that if you use PAT to direct care, you can shave 4 days off the average hospital stay, which is quite a lot of money. Looking at the size of the market, there's 21 million patients with peripheral arterial disease in the US. There's also another 8.5 million that are at high risk of diabetic foot ulcers. So these are patients that we can look to in the future, but our more immediate patients are the 2.3 million critical limb threatening ischemia patients and the 1.7 million diabetic foot ulcer patients, as well as the 770,000 procedures that are done each year. So those are our beachhead. We're looking at the clinic, at the procedures, and in the podiatry clinics. Since this is ultrasound and a fairly mature technology, the cost of goods has actually come down substantially throughout the years. So our cost of goods is about $5,500 for the system. We sell the system for $5,500, essentially at cost. And there is established reimbursement, as I said, so the physicians get reimbursed $150 each time they do the procedure. And then we bill on a fee per scan basis after that, $88 per scan. So under this model, the customers make back the money they invested in the system in 1 to 2 months, and they're profitable. As far as going to market, we're going to leverage the 100 plus KOLs and centers that are already supporting PAT. We have a beachhead of the office-based labs. For those that don't know, these are the vascular labs that are owned by the clinicians. We have strong clinical support there. There is reimbursement within that setting. And because they're owned by the physicians, this sales cycle is very short. We don't have to go through the hospital value committees. So that's our beachhead, as well as podiatry. We didn't actually go out to podiatry. They're the ones that actually heard about what we're doing, and they seeked us out. But there's a strong value proposition for them as well, so they're quite interested. After that, we generate our clinical evidence with the system, bring that out to hospitals, and then we have a whole host of screening and additional applications we can attack as well. There are a few competitors out there. Commercial ultrasound can be done, but we know that because of the bottleneck, it's not being done. Flowmet and Pedra are optical laser-based systems. Flowmet was actually purchased by Medtronic right after FDA approval. But the big problem with these is that they are not clinically validated and they do not have established reimbursement. We have 1 patent issued. We have 4 more families filed. They cover anywhere from the probe itself to the methodology of finding pedal acceleration to the whole system workflow of displaying that to the patient. We also have 10,000 plus images. Since our co-founder pioneered pedal acceleration time, we have the largest, or at least what we believe to be the largest pedal Doppler database in the world. So we utilize those images for AI analysis, as well as in the future, we can use it to see if there's even better biomarkers than just pedal acceleration alone. It's a 510(k) pathway. We recently got a response from the FDA confirming the product code, the predicates, and they even recommended a small 5 to 10 patient study, which in our mind is a huge win because we would do way more, a significantly larger study than that just internally. Besides myself and Jill, we have a third co-founder, Abu Bakr Khalifa. Abu Bakr is a critical care physician. Him and I met at the Stanford Biodesign program when we were fellows in 2018. And while this need didn't come directly from there, we used our training to come up with a whole bunch of needs a few years after that and land on this one. We also have a great team that fills in all of the development as well as quality, regulatory, clinical advisors, systems engineering, and there's actually more than we can really fit on this page. We're currently in the seed round here. So we have our clinical system and our experience studies, and we're working toward design freeze toward the end of the year, submitting 510(k) early 2026 and looking for FDA clearance mid-2026, at which point, yes, there is an exit opportunity such as Flowmet, but we're not going to bank on that. We then go into the market validation launch with a Series A. And then our long-term goal here is that we have the hardware and software right now, but we'd like to bring that software and port it over to third-party hardware. So this can be used in pretty much any other hardware. But we also have other applications that this can be used for. A full-on peripheral exam is just one product that we're thinking of. We can use it in the carotid. We can use it for urology. We could use it for venous procedures. There's a whole host of other procedures just using this technology. We're raising $2.5 million in a convertible note. We have 1.6 of that already raised. Our lead was the founders of Bayless Medical, their family office. For those that don't know them, they sold to Boston Scientific a couple of years ago for, I think, 1.5 billion. So they do active angel investing. We also have investments from Providence Healthcare Ventures. We recently got approval for an investment from MedTech Angel Group up in Northern California. And they've actually said that they'd be happy to share their diligence reports. So that may be of interest. And we've had a lot of other great support. We've gone through some programs, Creative Destruction Lab, UCSF Rosenman Institute, and we're supported by Innovate and OCI in Canada as well. With that, I'd love to open up to questions.
Thank you, Adam. Good presentation. What is your valuation?
It's a $9 million cap on the convertible note, 7% interest,
Thank you.
20% discount.
It's good.
Oh,
Nancy?
for the instances that didn't work, and you had two instances in both of your trials, was that user error or was that a problem with the device?
Yeah, that was, I'm sorry, it's a little difficult to hear, but I think you're asking about the instances that didn't work clinically.
Yes. Was it
So-
user error or was it a problem with the device?
No, it was actually more of an anatomic issue. So I believe there were 4 times they didn't find the vessel. 2 of those times the vessel didn't actually exist. People have, anatomy that is different. You can't really detect something that's not there. One of the times the vessel was I think the other 2 times the vessel flow was too low for the system to detect. So you get to a point where there's actually, these arteries are so clogged, there's actually no flow. And that's, any system would have difficulty, if not impossibility, to detect that.
And I go, what sort of product liability insurance, what would people do? Because there'd be, you had to do something about it. There'd be issues there, right?
Well, I mean, that's how they do it right now. So they're using ultrasound. If they can't find a vessel, they say no vessel found. We're not going to say that there's a zero flow. That would indicate an occlusion. We would just say there's no whether there's no vessel there or whether there's no flow, there's still the wound is not getting the blood flow that it needs. And so it's an issue regardless.
Stephen online.
Yep. So Adam, can you walk me through the value prop for, I'm guessing this is like, wound care centers and the vascular surgeons' offices that would be sort of primary focuses for this.
Sure.
They've got an ultrasound, they've got a tech there currently doing, I guess, the classic standard of care of evaluating sort of peripheral flow. Walk me through, you then have them buy a machine to measure the PAT. Is it just that there's no tech that's involved for it and they say have savings there, or they can have more throughput?
It's typically what happens is the techs, the vascular sonographers in the practices are so overworked and so overburdened, and they're doing these long, expensive, long, intensive cases. So a full-on peripheral arterial scan where they're looking at every vessel along the length of the leg, right? So they don't have the time to then take on another patient and do a pedal acceleration time measurement. What they really want is it's a personnel issue. They just don't have enough people to do it. So they want someone who doesn't have to be a sonographer to come in, and then patient comes in, this is the first thing they get. It's kind of like taking a blood pressure measurement. And this directs their care. They say, okay, you've got enough blood flow, we don't have to worry about, et cetera. Or you don't have enough blood flow. Okay, now we have to, if you don't have enough blood flow, we need to do a full-on exam and see what's going on here and probably do a procedure.
Okay, got it. And economics wise, because sometimes unfortunately you do some tests because you make more money, which is not the way it should be done. But them not doing that ultrasound tech procedure, but getting it done quickly with a lower cost, person doing it, the economics work out there in terms of reimbursements.
Yeah, there's going to be patients where you would probably do a procedure that you didn't necessarily have to before this. And yes, economically, that would probably take a hit, but at the same time, you're probably going to funnel even more patients to find the right ones that actually have these problems. Because what happens is these patients are getting referred out to vascular lab, and they're saying, take 2-3 weeks and go to this lab and get this test that's not necessarily accurate, right? They would want to know, okay, we got a problem, we know it, we're here, you're in the office, let's schedule you for your procedure.
Okay, great. Thanks, Adam.
Yep. And the other thing I think that's worth mentioning is in those procedures, you can't have a sonographer standing in a procedure for 3 hours straight to take 2 measurements, right? And so this is something where they can set it up, put it on the foot, and they'll take the measurements. And the way the reimbursement is worded today, you can actually get reimbursed up to 5 times per patient per day. And so you can actually scan them pre-op 3 times during the procedure, each time you open a vessel, and then post-op as well.
Okay.
That Matt in the back.
Matt.
So as I understand this, this is a nice or a new way to figure out a way to save the leg. If you can find, how many arteries to open up in surgery, is that about right?
Sorry, if you can find,
How to save the limb by figuring out which arteries you need to open, is that about right?
it's close. It doesn't, what it's doing is it's looking at the downstream effects. The arteries that you need to open are in the leg. So this tells you, do you have enough of those arteries open? It's not going to say specifically which one, but what'll happen is it'll say there's not enough blood flow. So then you go into a procedure, and then they look and they start opening. Okay, this is the easiest artery, the largest, easiest artery. I'm going to open up this first, and then they're going to look with this PAT, and they're going to say, okay, I opened that up. It's still not good enough. I need to open up another one. Okay, now I have enough blood flow at the foot. I'm good.
So this is attached during surgery, or this is something that you use pre-surgery?
It's both. In the clinic, it tells you whether there's enough blood flow to the foot, and then in the surgery, there's a strap, and it goes onto the foot, and it's telling you in real time how the blood flow is.
Thank you.
I got one question. Thank you for the presentation. So if we got 3 arteries going, large arteries going down the leg, right? And sometimes you take one of them and reverse it by cutting the valves and making it just going the other way around.
Yeah.
Does that have any effect on what you're doing? In a sense, is that partially to say you've got to do it or you're not gonna do it, or?
It's
I
going
just
to,
know that, go ahead.
it's going to tell you the efficacy of what you've done. So it's going to tell you what the wound is seeing currently and what the wound will is seeing after you do that procedure. So if you look at the waveform here, this is the acceleration time. It's this distance here. If you have more, this is kind of a spiky waveform. So if you see more of a muted waveform, that time extends out, and that's typically indicative of blockages upstream. And so if you have blockages upstream, you have this muted waveform, you have a long pedal acceleration time, you know something's going on. So if you want to go and do that reverse procedure, you can do that, and then you can look at the pedal acceleration time after, and you're essentially looking for this spiky waveform down by the foot.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sylvia?
How many prototypes have you built, and when is your first in human?
We have 4 prototypes. Ultrasound first in human is not as exciting as it sounds. We've been using it on humans for quite some time now. We have private clinics. All we really need is IRB or clinic approval and patient consent. So our drive now is to develop the commercial system.
Hey, Jeff.
Why not make money on the device instead of selling it at cost?
Because then we sell it at there's actually a lot more money to be made in the long term by selling it on a fee per scan basis. So for some of the clinic,
You could still do that and still make money on the device.
it's true. The truth is we're still going through some of our costing exercises. And so if we find out we can sell it for $10,000, we'll do that as well.
And my second question is, why not make the sensor much larger so you don't have to fuss with it right and left? Just wrap the foot and it'll tell you the whole thing.
Yeah, that's our next generation technology. That's ideal. That's a pretty significant jump in cost and development to do something like that, because suddenly you need it winds up becoming a matrix instead of a line of transducers. It's say 10 lines, right? So instead of 10, it's 10 times 10, it's 100. It goes up substantially to do something like that. There are technologies that are starting to come out that can do that. Truth is, they're still in their early stages, and so marrying a startup with a startup technology can be a little bit risky. We decided to take what's a pretty standard technology initially, work on our automation, and then as a second generation go in that direction where we can we'll have the luxury to invest in something that makes it even easier.
Thank you.
Sure.
You're going to commercialize it next year. How ready are you with the manufacturing side?
So the manufacturing of the device is not as complicated as it may seem. So the probe itself is, let me get a better picture here. The probe itself, we have a custom probe manufacturer doing this. That's probably the most complicated part. The driving electronics, we OEM an ultrasound engine, and that essentially performs all of the ultrasound functions. We're not reinventing ultrasound. We essentially need to pair that with a computer and a monitor and put it on a cart. So it's things that I've been involved with in my past. I've been working medical devices for 25 years. This is definitely one of the more straightforward ones. The software itself is more of the complicated issue than the hardware.
Bill, last question.
China involved in the manufacturing?
Not at this point. I'm trying to think. Sometimes components come from there, but the cart is not from there. The screen may. We haven't 100% selected that one yet. But the ultrasound engine does not, the probe does not, the cart does not.
All right.
All right, we're out of time. Thank you for your presentation, Adam. Good job. One of us will get back to you within the next day or two.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, our next presenter is in person.
Five extra plus. Okay.
No, I'm not taking off. I'm gonna take off this. Thinking how to really. Which one of you, or both?
He's gonna do majority of the slides. So please, so explain Tony back forward. If they're not working, it's good.
Now I know why the shot's here.
Yeah.
Everybody, our presenters here, so let's give them our attention. Now, our prior president is here to introduce the next deal for us. Go ahead, Ishan.
Well, good morning, everyone. There's some new faces in the room. Sean, come on. Bless you. Wanted to introduce you to Time Machine. So I don't know if some of you or most of you are familiar with the Co-Fund. Co-Fund kind of spun out of UCI's Innovation Center. It's similar to our TCA OC fund, member driven, but it also has some fund managers and a little bit more formal structure. There's 15 million of capital to deploy under that fund. I'm a member of that fund, and Time Machine presented to us, I want to say back in June, July timeframe. And I volunteered to be the deal lead on that due diligence. And I got to tell you guys, it was one of the smoothest due diligence processes as far as all the answers, all the information, vetting these guys, vetting the customers. So needless to say, we gave it a thumbs up at Cove. Cove Fund is investing $500,000 plus sidecar with its members. We've introduced them also to new fund in San Diego, who's also in diligence and may be investing. And now we're bringing it to TCA. As you guys know, I'm a TCA member. I was past president. I'm happy to help answer any questions on the due diligence. And now I'd like to hand it over to Ike and Cameron to present Time Machine. And I'll be around afterwards to.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Is there a microphone somewhere for
I
folks?
think it's in the ceiling.
Oh, it is. Okay, amazing. So we'll talk loud just in case. Great to meet everybody. So I'm Cameron.
Ike.
Great to meet you guys. We know we have 12 minutes, so we're going to go really quickly. So our product is an AI native onboarding and training platform for sales teams. We've been working on this for the last year and a half. We came out of stealth mode early this year, and we'll take you through a little bit about the business and the opportunity. First of all, just a tad bit about our backgrounds.
Hi everyone. I'm a first-gen immigrant, product of Orange County. Came here to this country with 100,000 in my pocket, and I found a job at the Kofax. Maybe you heard of it. I worked there. I got promoted, I think, 6 times in 4 years. And I told them they need to change the business. They need to put AI into it and then take it to cloud. They didn't listen to me. So I left. I started my own company called FSL. Grew it, bootstrapped it first, and then the Mercado Partners VC fund gave me $15 million to scale it. We scaled it, sold it back to Kofax. That was about 2 years ago. And after my golden handcuffs, partnered with Cameron to build one more.
My experience is on the revenue side. So I've been a chief revenue officer for high growth SaaS startups, really all of my career. In the last 7 years, I've worked really closely with tier 1 VCs like Andreessen Horowitz, Norwest Venture Partners, and others. And when those firms invest a seed round or a Series A, they'll often bring me in to help scale and grow those sales teams. So I've worked across, again, about 60, was pre-IPO at WebEx, spent 7 years there, ultimately had a $200 million revenue responsibility there after the Cisco acquisition. Also worked at a company called Blue Jeans, grew that from 0 to 85 million in about 4.5 years. So a lot of my time has been spent onboarding and ramping new sales reps. I'm an expert in this and I'm really passionate about it. So we've taken Ike's AI and technical experience, my experience with onboarding and training new sales hires, and there's a third element as well we'll tell you about that we've built into the product. So this is an incredibly painful challenge. Most companies have a very poor onboarding and training approach for new hires, and there are terrible results in general. New sales hires have about a 50% failure rate in year 1. Most ramp times for new sales hires are 7 months or more. There's an annual churn rate of almost 1/3 on sales teams, and sales folks are the most expensive resources in companies. So this problem is extremely expensive and costs companies a huge amount of money. Here's a little bit about how companies handle onboarding. Smaller and medium-sized companies typically don't have what they call LMS or learning management systems. So there really aren't tools to onboard. So what they'll do is when a new hire comes in, maybe they'll just say shadow our top reps. Maybe they'll say, here's some Zoom recordings, watch these recordings and tell us if you have questions. Or they'll give them a link to an internal site that has 500 documents and they'll say, go look at these and study these and tell us if you have questions. That's the onboarding process in most of the companies that I've worked with. Bigger companies have LMS systems, but those are typically super outdated, hard to use. I talked to somebody yesterday who's an LMS expert and he said all 400 of them are horrific. And that's generally the experience companies have. So there really aren't practical tools that add value when it comes to onboarding and ramping new sales hires. So we are solving that problem. We've built an AI native onboarding and training platform. It takes the customer's material and turns that into really powerful training content and then delivers it. The third part of our kind of product is we found a DARPA methodology. DARPA is the US government and intelligence community's advanced research arm. They were brought into the Navy to find a way to more rapidly onboard technical cadets. And they turned a 36-week classroom course into a 10-week individualized computer-led course. The 10-week participants drastically outperformed the 36-week participants using a number of methodologies. The challenge is it took DARPA about 2 years to build that. We can now build that in an hour using AI. So we're incorporating that methodology. Our product has tons of interactivity, role plays, so they can actually practice with the AI instead of practicing with customers. And all the training is personalized depending on the role, that person's experience level, and their performance during the training. These are some other elements of the DARPA project. Our customers are getting immediate value. They're seeing shorter ramp times for new sales hires. They're seeing reps build pipeline much faster. They're seeing a much higher success rate on their new hires. And this is also saving leadership a huge amount of time. Very often sales leaders or sales managers spend 40 or 60 hours per new hire, putting that training together, having to supervise, chaperone, babysit that onboarding. Our system is now doing that for them. We're getting lots of positive feedback from the market as well. The head of worldwide sales effectiveness and onboarding at Amazon, AWS, said you guys have built what we've been trying to build at Amazon for years. We had another customer just recently who said your platform built in a day what would have taken us a year to build out in terms of the content. And we're seeing a 90+% progression rate when we show it. So if we show a demo of our product, in over 90% of those cases, those deals are progressing. I've never seen that before in my career. I've sold some cool products, but there's extreme interest in the market for our platform. This pause.
Right before my slide, great.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
So we, when we were in the stealth mode, we spent about a year perfecting this. It's really hard to create the right context for the LLMs to build the right course for the individualized training experience. And we also bring in the employees resume, what they're learning in a cumulative way, and we give them personalized feedback based on that history. So this is our IP that we built into the system.
From a competitive perspective, there really aren't other products in the market today doing what we're doing the way we're doing it. There's a few ancillary things. Again, LMS systems are typically only in large enterprise customers. These are heavy lift software applications that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and take many months, if not years, to actually build. Our product can be built and ready for a customer in a day. Even customers that have LMS systems are still buying Time Machine because it adds so much incremental value for them. There's also a category of AI role play and AI call coach products. Think about Gong, which does call coaching. There's a lot of other products that kind of do call coaching. It's very different than what we're doing, which is teaching new information. The products like Gong and others are really just coaching on that actual call, like, hey, you talk 90% of the time instead of letting the customer talk. We're actually teaching new information and skills and the knowledge they need to be very successful in their role. There's a couple other products out there that do little pieces of what we do, like the role play specifically, but there really aren't platforms that do collectively what we do, at least not in the market today. In terms of our progress, we have 18 paying contracted customers. We have 2 more commits in legal, so we'll be at 20 by the end of the month. Our current ARR is 100K. It'll be 120 by the end of the month. We have another 25 customers in eval, most of which we expect to progress before the end of the year. We're seeing expansion into other departments as well. So although we're marketing this as a sales product, it can also be used in any department. So those companies are using it in marketing and operations and support. Also, there's a really powerful use case for external use to train partners and even to train customers. We're seeing some bigger companies as well. So we started kind of lower in the market with companies under 200 people as our initial customers. The 2 deals committed for this week are both 1,000 person companies. So our deal sizes are going up and our go-to-market is definitely moving up market rapidly. We're doing a number of things to generate business. We have referral partners that are referring us. We're doing outbound prospecting effectively. We're getting a lot of referrals from our network, and customer referrals is another really powerful source of our current pipeline.
Let me take it. we've been working on this product for a long time, many times from the VCs when we do the demo, we are told that the product is further along than many other seed companies that they've seen. That's because we've spent a lot of time on it before we start going to market. In Q3, we focused on insights and reporting mostly for our customers, so that not only managers can see how the students or employees are doing, but employees can also see their own progress against their competitors, which is the other employee. We've also worked on our own video-based role play. We have role plays already that you can do, talk to the AI like a prospect AI customer to practice, but we're also bringing the video version of it. And the next quarter, we're going to be working on training like as a live coding style, so live training style. So I don't think there's anything like that in the marketplace. That's also coming next couple months.
In terms of the market opportunity, companies spend 15 billion a year just in the US on training salespeople. We see an immediate $100 million ARR opportunity just around sales as a use case. But as mentioned, we actually built a product for any function, any role. This is a land and expand sale. So once we close a deal, we're getting into other departments and other use cases. So that increases the opportunity to at least 300 million in ARR. And there's a lot of different companies that would be interested in acquiring us. So an example of that are workforce automation tools, also any kind of sales tech company, also some of the legacy LMS systems that would love to have our technology. I don't know if there's anything else. That's just a kind of a sampling of customers that are potential acquired or companies that are potential acquirers of ours. We see a very realistic path to 50 million in the next 5 years. I've done this exact same growth a number of times in different companies. None of them have had as broad of a use case as ours does.
We built a few slides. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for the feedback on the original one. We believe that we have 4 modes that either we have or we continue to build. We want to mention those to you. Giving the right context to the AI is very important, and you can't just dump all your documents into it and have it produced. It'll produce a good summary, but it's not going to teach you exactly what you need to know and the feedback that you've given. I think our
that was the timer.
Do we have a few more slides?
I think one last thing we'll say. So we're doing a $2 million raise via convertible note. We've raised 500K from co-fund. Their members will be contributing more, and we're looking to raise the additional 1.5 via convertible.
And we have about 100K so far this year in ARR.
What's the valuation?
So it's an $8 million pre-money.
Pre-money on a convertible?
Correct.
Is it cap?
Yeah, cap is 8.
Oh, cap is 8.
Cap is 8 convertible.
Discount interest?
7% and 20%. I wish it was 7% discount, but it's not the other way.
Yeah, interesting. How long does it take for me as a company using Time Machine to set it up so that it actually works as magic?
A couple of days.
Who does it?
So we basically give a shared folder, we absorb the customer's material and create a draft literally within an hour.
How many people?
How
many people in your team?
We have 10. So Ike and I and 8 engineers. And we're in the process of building out go-to-market.
And who's the one that ingests this material? Is one of the engineers?
The AI.
The AI actually does it.
The AI does everything.
So I just put in basically PDFs and documents.
Zoom recordings, slides, PDFs, any kind of material that the customer has, transcripts of calls, anything that's relevant, our system absorbs that and within an hour turns that into really powerful interactive training with visuals, questions, exercises, tests.
Any limitation in the size of the documents or the number of documents?
No.
No, I come from document
I know that
space,
yeah.
so I know how to handle the documents and materials. But we had a customer actually came on Thursday. They said they're hiring new SDRs on Monday. So if you can do it, they give their documents, and in an hour or so, the AI generated everything, the lessons, the questions, the role plays, exercise, everything just comes out. And then we ask them to review it because we designed for enterprise users. So they have ability to review everything, make sure everything is correct. They push a button and the students get the invite.
So one final quick question. When you say agentic, that's normally making a decision for the salesperson. Are you making the decision on what they say next or what they do? Or are you giving them options to come up with? So in other words, it's deciding or a combination of deciding and questions?
That's a good question. So we decide, we act, so AI decides and acts, and then we have our customers review those results so that they can actually go live very fast. For example, when the document is uploaded, the AI decides what are the things that we should teach in this document, in the what order. We have a curriculum. AI decides where the document should go and then tells, here's the reason I decided this, here's the reason I decided this, so the admin can see it. But it also moves forward, say, I'm gonna create this lesson for this role this way. I'm gonna create the same lesson for this role in a different way. It makes a lot of decisions and then creates those.
One final question, sorry. Are you using a general LLM or are you building your own SLM or a hybrid?
So for the video, we have our own LLM, but for video model, but for LLMs, we actually took Cameron's experience, turned that into our IP, if you will, and then those are fed into LLM to control the output of the LLM.
So if I'm a customer like TCA, just for argument's sake, and I have my own unique data, is my data preserved as a sanctity within TCA when I integrate it with your data? In other words, do I have?
We don't have any data, so we just control.
But you have some database that you're going into.
He's just asking about the privacy of the.
Yeah, is it private, hybrid, public? What do you do? I'm not.
Everything's
sure.
private, so.
So it's basically an SLM, hybrid.
Sure.
Private, okay, got it.
Yeah, it's very
We're
private.
running our own instance in Microsoft Azure. We have siloed instances.
So no one else gets it.
So they don't get it.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Jeff online.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, quick question. What are the use of funds and your pricing model, or how do you price this out for your customers?
Sure. So about half the funding is going to go to continue to fund and accelerate engineering. About 30% of it is going to go to market, building out some SDRs and AEs, which is my expertise. And then 20% of it is going to go to kind of operational help, customer success and tech support to continue to fast track the customers that are coming on board. In terms of the pricing model, it's a standard SaaS pricing model based on number of users. It's a land and expand model as well. So we give some limitation when they first sign up on the number of users they can have access to. And as we grow into other departments, they pay more to add additional users in other departments.
And how much are they actually paying? Like say for 200-person company that needs to build out a module, are they paying it per use and how much is it?
They're paying it per user, not per use, but per user. Our early deals, we're very flexible on pricing. So they were in the 5K range just for a small departmental use. We're now more in the 15 to 20K range for small departmental usage. And we have some 50K plus deals. All of that is just departmental. None of that is company-wide. So generally we're starting with one department and then expanding from there.
And your user is the trainee or the training development person?
The user is the trainee, but also the existing team. So about half of our usage is training brand new hires, and about half of our usage is upskilling the current team they already have.
Understand. Thank you.
Sure. Please, Nancy.
I'm doing the same thing that I create training through AI, so I'm very interested in. I create it generally, but is there any way that when the people are using it, you have beginning people and you have very experienced people that you can change it as they go through it using the data?
This is, I'm so glad you asked that. So absolutely, we take the resume or LinkedIn of everyone that's using it, and we build the training differently depending on their experience level. So if it's someone right out of school, this is their first job, we teach at a more basic level. If they've been in a similar job for 10 years, the system teaches at a more advanced level, and it's adaptive based on their performance. So if somebody is struggling, the system actually breaks it down into smaller bite-sized pieces. And if they're doing really well, the system accelerates the training. So we meet everybody at kind of their current capability and we train them from there. That's one of the kind of magic things that our product has. So everyone gets trained as quickly as possible, but based on their own experience and capability.
We call it individualized and personalized. Individualization comes from everybody trains at their own pace, slow, and the pace changes throughout the course. And the feedback that is given, because we have a lot of exercises and open-ended questions. So the system gives coaching at a personalized level to individuals, so we progress them in different ways. So everybody experiences it differently.
Philip.
Do you create any value in the hiring part of this?
So great question. So a few things. Because we have the resume and LinkedIn profile of everybody that's using it and we then know what their performance is, we're building insights on things like, hey, based on the people who've been going through the training, this is the type of profile, the type of experience level you really want to hire. So that's coming. That's something we're already working on. Some of our customers are using this free onboarding too, to kind of get people ready to start onboarding. So there's a number of ways we do that.
Okay, was it?
I think both.
Yeah, I gave up, but I still have a question, yeah.
Vote.
Just for clarification for my sake, because I didn't quite understand. Are you training a salesperson, as you're saying, training a salesperson in how to sell something? Or are you training them based upon the sales techniques that are used in that agency or that sales office?
So we're training them on everything they need to know to do that job. We're training them on all the history of the company they just joined, the HR stuff, the products, the industry, the pricing, the sales techniques, everything they need to know in the first, call it 2 to 3 weeks, our system trains.
Okay, so sales techniques, just as the sales techniques, they're different for, if you take a video as an example, there's 3 different salespeople have different techniques of selling something. What do you do? How do you say this is the right technique for that person? And don't tell me that LinkedIn is your supply of information about that person on his capabilities, because I don't think there's anything that says how good or bad they were on LinkedIn, right? But how do you then choose and say, this is the right method and this is not the right method?
So a couple things. Customers can put their own sales methodology into this. So let's say they use MEDDIC. MEDDIC is a common sales framework that's used by lots of companies. They can put MEDDIC in as their sales methodology, and our system will build the course based on that MEDDIC methodology. So they can put in any methodology they want. They can also customize the roles of the people that are being trained.
Okay.
So a strategic account executive might have one type of sales, an SDR might have another type of approach. So all of that is customizable by the role and by the customer.
We don't dictate how they should train. The VP of sales sets the stage for the company, right? They have their documents, sales playbooks, maybe or Zoom recordings. Our system ingests that and then teaches that way.
So it's not AI in that moment. It's not AI choosing which way. You're defining it for the system to say, this is how we like it to be set up.
In this company for this
In this
role.
company, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is your target audience or client small, medium, or enterprise level? And then also, because I come from the small market team, and I see the value of it in a small market team, but what we always find where any kind of LMS and stuff are so expensive that for a small market team that maybe do $5-10 million a year, it's not going to be, price efficiently for them to actually grow their small sales team.
So we started with SMB. Our current ICP is definitely SMB employees, companies of 200 employees or less. Those have really quick sales cycles and quick wins. That said, we're also getting introduced to bigger companies and we're having a lot of success with them as well. So our intentions are to continue to build the product to add enterprise features and to continue to go at market. So we're going to sell into every segment as we scale the product.
Just a follow-up.
You can't.
Sorry, there are so many people. I gotta go to Randy online next.
Probably a good one.
Yeah, thank you. So a few questions. Who exactly are you selling to within these companies? So is it the sales leader? Is it the training department? And if you're talking about 200 or less people, they're probably wearing multiple hats. So who's the target audience?
So the target is the sales leader If there isn't a sales leader, it's the CEO. In bigger companies, it's more like, you know, a director or senior director level. But generally for our ICP, it's the CEO or the chief revenue officer / VP of sales that's buying this. They have the budget and the power. And even if they don't have the budget, they can buy whatever they want if it's going to help their team.
Yep. Do you run into any IP protection issues? So you're uploading lots of documents, information into your model, but they may
Based
have
on
something
our
they've licensed that doesn't allow them to do that.
Great question. Based on our architecture, no. So when they've reviewed our security architecture, everyone's been comfortable sharing their secret sauce in our system.
Okay. Do you see competitors? So you talked about other LMS companies. And again, you had talked a little bit about the competitive landscape. So there's lots of companies that are approaching this from different perspectives or doing segments of what you've talked about. How do you see, and I saw your moat slide, but how do you see protecting this though longer term?
Sure. So a few things. One, we are not just doing AI role plays. That's a small part of what we do. Also, we're built from an AI native perspective. It's really hard for the bigger LMS companies to go back and backwards architect their system to be AI native. So we've done a lot to build this from scratch with an AI orientation. We're also continuing to innovate really, really rapidly to stay ahead of other companies that might follow.
Okay, we only have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to Matt and then JJ.
Burn rate, how much money do you have in the bank, future raises, and how much money do you guys put into the company?
Our burn rate is about $60,000 today, a month. I had a great exit before, so I've been funding the company. But we want to really scale this company and blow it up, so we need partners. So that's why Cove became part of the family. I stopped funding it as soon as Cove came. They put $500K, and we're trying to raise $2 million, which will last us about 2 years. We've created a financial plan based on the go-to-market resources that we're going to hire. So our burn is going to increase a little bit initially. The goal is to get to Series A within 24 months and keep scaling the company.
How much are you going to raise at Series A?
I can give you some numbers, but I think it's going to be dependent on our growth rates. As you know, this growth rate is going to define the valuation, and the VCs generally want to come in around 20% dilution. So I'm guessing it's going to be $15 to $20 million raise for Series A, but you know it's 2 years from now.
I can you just add how much you've put in and how much you guys are getting paid?
Sure. We are not getting paid. I put in more than $1 million already to the company. So to be exact, I think 1.4.
Yeah, when you say 90% progression, what does that mean?
So from the first demo, if they see a demo, in more than 90% of the cases, it's moving on to next steps.
Right, okay.
So people aren't seeing this and saying, we're not interested, we already have something that does this, no thanks. In almost every demo that we run, is the process is.
So what's your close rate and what's your sales cycle?
So the close rate in our ICP, in terms of deals that we run.
I'm sorry.
Ideal customer profile,
Oh,
which is companies of 200 employees or less. Our close rate deals that, you know, that have closed, it's already like probably 60%. We're not losing deals, but some of those companies are still in a sales process with us. We have a big pipeline of active companies in eval. In bigger companies, these 2,000 person companies that we're expecting to sign this month that we have commits on, those were, I'd say one of them was about 2.5 months, a company in Canada. And the other one was been about a 5-week sales cycle to get to close.
Okay, one last question. And what's your customer acquisition cost currently? And lifetime value?
So customers are, we are not getting paid. We're not doing any marketing. So cost of Cameron which is zero, is our cost right now. But we did some in the financial plan. We predicted about 8% churn, you know, and if the ACV is, let's say, average 20, you know, then it becomes what 8%. If it's 10%, it would be 9 times $180,000, right? But our average deal size is also increasing rapidly. We started with 5, now it's like 10, 15 already. So going up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on overtime, so I will let Volker get back to the last
Oh.
question.
Okay. What's your exit potential? What do you exit for in a multiple?
A good question. So, I'll take a few more minutes than you. We both are very familiar with, building the company with multiple products. But we also know how difficult it is to build multiple products. So we built the system to be able to train everybody, but our first product, if you will, is sales training. Our customers are already branching out to the CSMs and support and other teams, but if you just look at the sales teams, we believe we can get to $100 million in revenue. And if a strategic buyer comes at the $100 million range, I think it's gonna be at least $400 million sale. But we are not stopping there. We are building, when the time comes, we're gonna introduce other products. So the training for.
You said if it's 100 of ARR, it would be way more than 400.
Way more than 400, but I'm on.
10x, like SaaS multiples these days for high growth companies are. Like,
So you're telling me 10 to 12x?
yes.
And the co-invested? Because I think the
Saying that we
requirements
expect
are
a
much
multiple.
higher in the co.
We're expecting a multiple.
30x.
Okay.
We're saying 10x of our ARR revenue is the valuation, not, they're investing at 8 million, so they're multiple.
If they have a $500 million exit, no more money, it's a 50x.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would.
If there's no more money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. So we're gonna hang out for the thing after, so
Yeah.
bring more questions to us.
You did great.
Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Okay, I am going to do. Okay, Jonah, we're gonna do our next thing, but I won't wait. I'm gonna do the guest introduction. Do I have Anush here? Anush, go ahead and give yourself a quick introduction, everybody.
Absolutely. My name is Anish Lakshmi. I am, my background is business consulting, professional consulting services. I was most recently with Verizon and worked with Microsoft, Cisco, Avaya, PwC, a few of these companies. My passion is really help organizations achieve their business transformation / digital transformation. I've been doing some business consulting for some AI company and business observability. And I'm building a product that sometime in the future, I'm going to bring it to this venue and working with some co-founders and talking to companies that are willing to invest in doing the MVP for me. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Next, I have Seher.
He's online.
Okay,
So are you still online?
Yeah, I'm here.
you wanna do a 30-second quick introduction?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Seher Bishara. I run a human factors and usability engineering lab in Tustin, California. And my partner and I are seeking business and also looking for opportunities for investments. And we work with startups and like to support startups. So we're very interested in this angel group, and it's a pleasure to be involved and hear the different presentations and look for opportunities. Thank you.
Welcome. Last we have George Makrilitz. George, is he online?
I don't think I saw George join.
Is that your partner by chance, Sarah?
Yes, if he's not online, then he probably either signed off. So I apologize for that.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, we do have Eugene online. Eugene,
Eugene?
would you like to say something?
Sure. Hi guys. Thank you for having me today. I had a couple of startups in the past. And then I joined one of my shareholders, and we're basically looking for unique partners like we had today, to invest in. So thank you for having us.
Thanks, Eugene.
Great. Next, we're gonna cover our sponsor. I saw Barry online. You want to start, Barry?
Sure. I want to welcome everyone to Westcliff campus, and I want to let you know that Westcliff has opened its latest campus in Toronto, Canada, and we're.
Yay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're saying yay.
We're
Yay.
cheering.
We're
We're
cheering.
cheering.
We're strategically located within Venture Lab, a leading innovation hub in Markham's tech sector. This is the second largest innovation hub in Canada. Venture Labs has a thriving ecosystem of founders, scale-ups, and corporate partners that are all dedicated to advancing Canadian innovation. At any given time, there are several dozen to over 100 active startups across their programs, and they bring in 100 plus new ventures per year that join their hub of founders. Since 2011, they've worked with over 4,000 tech ventures, portfolios, and alumni, et cetera. I'm looking at this as a potential opportunity for TCA Orange County to expand its reach to Toronto and possibly even create a satellite chapter via Westcliff's presence within Venture Lab, benefiting Venture Lab, TCA, and Westcliff faculty and students. So Pat and David are exploring these possibilities with our Toronto admin team and our Venture Lab partners. Well, more to come.
Good to hear. Good.
Yeah, we're happy to start that conversation, and thank you so much, Barry, for being that bridge. I think you are the only person online for sponsor, and that's it. By the way, I want to say hi to Eugene Yoshioka. I know you just introduced yourself, but he is one of our affiliate member. I just want to let everybody aware. So we'll take a short break and come back at 1:45. Thank you.
Want to put up the QR code?
Yep.
That was a joke here. I said the FDA, billions. I thought millions, 500 million. Where's that? Well, 2 million would be 20%. So,
You guys want to give them up?
if I sell it out, and see what I'm saying? I see. Don't worry about it. I would, sometimes shit happens. I want, this is gonna be taking notes on that one because she knows this stuff. You know, agentic AI things.
You're not supposed to have a. Qualified. Or meetings. I use it for training, and it's wrong. I have to keep on saying, like, information that I'm getting a lot, then I have to make it correct.
And I get it.
I have my calendar.
I get it.
To change dates.
Well, their motives, their unique advantage of either their way they design their AI system. And it's more, AI is more like a trade secret than anything else.
Congratulations, the last 3 meetings. Starting. You sit down in the parking lot and wait.
I do. I wait out here because sometimes the other.
Well, I mean, that would be, yeah, I'd be interested to find out if that really works that well, because they call a lot of big numbers and they're paying for it. I mean, again, AI is the new, yeah. Sorry, so based on the LinkedIn, how differentiate how qualified or not qualified. That's, yes. Your own information in the industrial revolution. Everybody, well, that's the end of everything.
I agree, that's my concern too. Yeah, that's my concern.
The next. But the one here is, I think about, just thinking about cars, you go to different dealerships. Yes. Go to Fletcher Jones. Yes. Fletcher Jones is some of the areas. They really are arrogant. And I know somebody, management, and he's German. I said, why are you guys so arrogant? Oh, yeah.
You're in the picture, I guess I'll take a picture of the thing right there.
That's what they're selling. No, that's trained. It is trained. It is really trained. I said, so what?
The kids actually get to vote too.
Yeah. Germany did this one time too, Mercedes-Benz, cultural is that way. It hurt them really bad. Good. So how do you teach, but how do you teach? So, yes. I don't know.
But see, I talk in big numbers, I have a small aviation company and we always need sales. We fix it. It's not such. And we have when salesman goes up in the country and all that. What else can you do?
Well, but it's all about, but then it's all about connections. People.
That's exactly.
And that's not, the system doesn't teach you that.
Oh, you.
This is really good. What is it? What is that? Not a 10%.
It's Tuesday.
If you register, I don't know. If I- How
Send
many
you
people
the
have we
link. It's
heard
online.
that I'm a
It should be a
$1
lot.
billion industry? You say,
I'm just interested because
I don't know.
Invested, only invested.
It's, and if you wanna sit on the panel, you can, if you don't want to, whatever you.
I come down, but that's just me. I don't.
Good to see you.
It's not my thing.
I don't always can stay for the discussion. Unless you
No.
Yeah, and we want to catch up front, right?
Cash up front, yeah, we do accept Venmo, cash.
Absolutely.
Cash out.
Yeah.
Anybody wears a Texas shirt?
But he's gonna be.
Right.
Presenter.
Good.
Oh, that's-
All I'm gonna say.
Thank you very much. But I wish you guys
Flying like this, like that.
Skinny
No, I'm not skiing.
Well, I hope I know there's not.
Austin.
Yeah, the Austin Theme Park and, Georgetown.
I used to live in town.
Okay.
we have those. No, but I don't have somebody.
I did, online, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I got the.
You big guys.
Yeah.
If you want to send me something, tell me what he's doing, he's one solicitor. I'll
I
write
think,
something for him.
if you're on a panel, you got one.
Overall, you get.
Oh, I did.
Good, good, bad, you said. Property taxes there.
We can probably
work one through, so you can get a $90 house there, so you're paying $25 a year. Property tax here, you're paying $800.
Well, except in Texas, if you have a 10-acre ranch, it's farmland, you have one cow on it, two.
I'll show you my new Brandy. She's 1 month old.
And
I have one that looks like that.
And it was, there's certain states like in California, one in Florida. Yeah. God, get some of your getting buried in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Now it exempts you from property tax. Now you're
Hey, I got him down here.
Yeah.
It's not a small house.
Yeah, but I mean, you said that there's one for the acre or more.
House. Then you decision.
Maybe which half would that be?
There are houses on the outside.
It's just like a real house. Because there is a
You need that by. What I thought it was, This company. Hindsight, there you go.
Something that would be.
For 8 years.
Where that don't know the
My
spot.
first contract with TCA for 8 years.
Congratulations.
I just got older, so I.
Yeah, that one only does it, it goes right into the.
It's like the whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I need 4 note takers.
Oh, then one is not enough.
Oh, Theo, which one would you like you pick? Birch.
I'll do, Sean, Sean, you wanna do hikes or you want me to
So
do
you
it?
got more color.
I don't mind you doing
I'm sure.
it. If you want me to do it, I'm probably gonna circle back with them anyway.
You want
So
to
if
do it?
nobody else wants to do it,
I'll take
do
a
it,
different one.
but it would be nice to have a fresh.
Because I've dealt with him at the SBDC, that's the reason why I was saying it too.
I'll do it.
Which one are you doing?
I, bless him,
Oh, that's
That's
not,
an
it's called Time Machine.
I know why.
How can you tell Ike?
David, David.
Time machine.
It was a lot.
Okay, so Phil's gonna do Birch. Neurosomix, that's the one for sleep apnea. Who has sleeping problems? Anybody don't mind?
I'll do, if anyone wants to trade me, we can do these negotiations.
I'll trade you.
You wanna do the last one?
I would, yeah, I've been working with the last one, so.
Nancy said she wanted to do the last one.
I'm gonna like Pat do it.
No, you do it.
it.
I only wanna talk to them. I don't really want to.
I'll do all right, Pat, you do the last one, I'll do neurosomix.
Okay, you do neurosomix,
Oh, no, Alton's gonna do neurosomix, I'm still on the last one.
then you do the Moonrise Medical. Okay?
Uh,
You do Moonrise Medical?
You want me to do Moonrise?
Yes,
Okay.
and then I'll take care of Time Machine.
Who has foot protrusion?
We're gonna
Yes.
start.
Theo has Birch. Why are we echoing?
Mute their computer. Their microphone.
It's not me. I don't have audio. Are we still echoing?
I think it may be you, Pat.
Really?
Oh, it's Pat. That screwed it up. That's the donut you had, the sugar insulin.
So, haven't even had the donut, would you like? Okay, Birch, what do we like about it? It's that enzyme for the plastic.
Birch Bioscience.
Well, enzyme for melting the plastic.
Yeah, it's the best thing is they don't have to clean it. That's, I mean, that's really, really expensive in the process. I know that.
Okay.
Well, look, they have $80 million in LOIs, which I think is really strong. They're building a catalog of enzymes, so they have a platform theoretically that's gonna build a variety from different products and stuff. It's a hot area in terms of, innovation, in terms of getting, recycling of plastics as well as metals. They have $3.5 million in non-dilutive funding. They raised 900K. They have the technology, which is in-house. It uses AI and machine learning to build the enzymes. They have a good relationship with Bristol's. Bristol's, by the way, they have really good strawberries and blueberries. I buy Bristol's. I will contribute to their plastics. And they're building, good and bad news, they're building a first plant for a ton. The bad news is they're building a first plant for a ton, which is a lot of money, so I have some concerns too, but those are my positives.
I think they also have a lot of exit potential, right? Because I mean, you could take any one of these enzymes and its associated processes and essentially spin that off, sell it before they move to the next one, right? And they should, in theory, do it with their same IP.
Yeah.
Another thing that I liked is they have a cost advantage over Virgin, which is already good, and they can price at premium. Their kind of flagship customer is Driscoll, and they're selling, organic berries all over.
Yeah.
All over the place. So I like that. Good margins potential.
Yeah.
And the process is infinite, so it's not just one and done. They can use the plastic several times.
Did they mention it was just clear plastic or all color plastic, like milk jug?
They didn't say.
Well, they had it on the screen, the green plastic, the green caps and the red caps.
Okay.
Well, they're going for clear because the output, the raw material, it has to be not yellow, right? It has to be translucent.
Right.
I can only use clear in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
But you could always color it, I'm sure.
All right, so you want a time constraint, or we're just gonna continue to just talk? What do you want to do?
What do you not like?
No, well, I don't on that one. They compete on, the comment that he had is competing on price. I hate when somebody competes on price because I'm not sure that's sustainable. That's a concern. He doesn't have business people on his team. He has 3 PhDs.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's gonna use the money to get that. That's good. It's a very active competitive field for enzymes. Whether or not I asked the question, how is he gonna make sure his enzymes are better? He said, trust me, basically. I don't know about that.
Well, I think he did talk to the IP, which allows them to continuously improve, right? So, I mean, the hope is that they'll have enough money to keep researching.
Yeah, there are a lot of companies in there. Also, he mentioned that 2 of them have already exited, two enzyme companies.
No, not true, David. I just checked on the AI. The French company is still generating $130-something million. I mean, AI, we need to check that during the due diligence.
Yeah, that one's the Carbios one?
Yeah, Carbios, yeah, they're still very active. They're not making money, but they're very active in the market.
Yeah, so he said they're not doing well, but $800 million tells me something may be different.
Could be subsidized.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, they're gonna take Peugeots, throw it into the system, and then they're gonna decompose Peugeots, I guess.
I think that the biggest downside is the valuation. It's awfully high.
Money is 20 million.
Valuation is high. Also,
With
there's
no
a question on,
sales, it's an idea. I mean.
yeah, there's a question on how, to your point, Guru, and also to yours, the question is the strength of their IP. That's really what you're betting on, and that they could convert that into sales, knowing that other competitors have not been real successful in doing this. So you have to believe that the threesome can do it, whereas bigger companies can't. Yeah, it's a toughie.
Okay, can we all start voting? There's a QR code up there. We can continue the discussion, but I need everyone to start doing the voting, please. That concludes you online people. Thank you.
Thank you. Corrected my assumption that these.
Can you put a link in the chat?
And what.
It's
Yep.
the link.
Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah, their system will be cheaper, that's what they said.
1 second.
That's the question.
linked.
6 foot, 6'2". That's my bet, JJ.
Who's taking book today? Is it JJ?
No, I actually didn't see that one. I was late, so I.
Oh, yeah? Well, for you, it'd be like 628.
Okay. You're gonna have another digit, of course.
No. The way JJ scored, this one would be a 4. Because of the
4.15.
Just make it up.
Everyone in?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Are we all ready? Okay, we'll give you another 10 seconds.
Well, I'm still using his princess telephone to figure it out. So.
Who is the princess telephone? That's an oxymoron because Princess for the old time.
That's exactly the point. Remember, he had the Nokia 8200 for years. Remember
Oh,
that?
you know he's talking about you.
Always.
I think with Animus times, that phones are coming back.
Coming back.
But is that different than the?
Alrighty, I think we give it enough time.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's look at it.
Survey.
Look at that. 624.
Wow.
Yeah, good job.
We can't see it.
Can't
see it.
6.24.
Can't see it.
Wait, what the?
Yeah.
One sec.
See it. Oh, I
Oh,
see.
man.
You only
Wait,
can
why?
see it online.
Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
Trying to navigate the dual computer system here.
I don't mind.
Let's see.
So basically,
It's the opportunity that the deal terms are the worst.
The deal
of
terms.
course,
Good opportunity to
expected
get deal
the-
terms.
we expected that because the valuation was high.
Yeah.
But overall, it's,
It has people invested, so that we can look at due diligence.
we don't.
Yeah. Non-dilutive is very, very strong though. That's great.
Yep.
Okay, so it gets a 6.24.
What was the valuation?
20. It's 20.
Okay.
It was
so
20
the-
pre is worse. It's 20 pre.
But he does have a big addressable market. And there's a need for it. We just. A lot of the question because the CEO is outside, if you have any more questions, and. We just need to raise hands to decide if we wanna go to due diligence.
I'm in.
If we're interested in it. So give me a raise your hand if you want to see this deal move through.
People.
Okay. Ready? Ready?
I think I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we got Cal, Sylvia, Phil, Brad, James, and Jeff and Lisa online.
Wow, cool.
Okay,
That's
a nice one.
And everyone's committed to follow through and responding to things and all that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Can you ask for the deal room access as step 1 for me?
We got 10,000 DDs and no one responds to emails.
Does anyone want to act as a deal lead on this one?
I'll do deal lead on this one, but I want access to deal room before I do anything.
Yeah, I'll help you out on this one. I'm not interested in, investing, but I'm interested in following it to ground.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, David. Now we'll move out to neurosomix. This is the one that has the braces for sleep.
Anymore? Huh? We do. That's here. I'll just raise your hand.
Oh, everybody that raised their hand, deal team.
Oh, no, Walton.
No, but everybody go.
Okay, so I'll take this one to start. Everybody's starting. Wow, you have any people? You remember this one. What do you like about it?
I can kick it off. I actually like it. It's a big market in sleep apnea. number one, huge. I mean, CPAP machines and the
Yes.
invasive surgeries don't kind of cut it right now. It's using it's a built-in sensor in an appliance. People are used to having appliances, you know, for a variety of reasons. So that's where I think the valuation, a $6 million valuation cap, relative to what we have seen, notwithstanding where they are in their development, is pretty reasonable.
Agrees. And I think it has multiple patents.
Probably does. I
It
didn't
does,
pick that up.
it was on the deck.
So that's,
So they're using some kind of a stimulation signal to.
yeah, I don't remember the name. I mean, you're the doctor, but it's the HNS stimulation, which we have heard before for sleep apnea. So it's a known area where you can stimulate this nerve, and the way they do it now is either through an implant under the chin, or they really open you up and put an implant in the back of your throat, which is kind of like
That's the
crazy thing.
There's no overstimulation. Yeah, but what's not proven is the,
Wired? What? You don't walk around with a large wire for your wall. It's wireless.
Plug in it, right?
Yeah, you battery.
Yes, you charge every night.
You plug your finger into it.
It charges every night, and then when it's charging, that's also what uploads the data to the cloud.
But the problem is, there is competition in this whole area of sleep apnea.
But no one has ever solved it, so all
No
the
one has not,
competition in the
that's
world,
correct.
it doesn't matter.
And there's two systems out there. There's this Genio system and the Zeus system, so no one has made it work right yet.
No one.
Yeah.
Too early. It's a big
So
deal.
it's very, yeah, you're betting on, that's why the valuation's low. So you're betting on whether or not this guy, who is the only one that's tested it on himself. I mean, seriously, I mean, it's like, this is he's the genius that's gonna make it work. He may be, in which case the valuation is really low if it takes
Yes.
off and goes to the next stage. I think waiting to the next time he has more data and more people would be a smarter thing, even if it costs you more money. That's where my head is at.
I think you asked the best question, Dave, about competitors. We've seen maybe half a dozen of these companies, and I get a very kind of Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future guy with a colander, you know, with a bunch of electrodes sense from him being a solo operator. And so I like the idea of waiting till he's got a bigger team and more formulated science.
It's just safer for us, really, and I don't think it would be that much more when it goes to the next stage. Maybe it'll be a $10 to $11 million cap, which is basically where we are in most of our deals.
Yeah, especially if he gets his NSF grants, right? I mean, this is an
Yeah,
area of
absolutely.
study,
Yeah.
because then he'll have enough money to float him for years.
Right.
Good point.
My actual concern is whether or not, I mean, he's just like the nutty professor type, right? So my concern is whether or not he really plans on letting it go to a proper CEO to maximize potential value. I couldn't get a read of it one way or the other.
That's a good
And
question.
hence Davis' approach makes sense, because then you would know his progression.
Well, he needs more people in his organization. I didn't see his advice. I mean, I saw a few of his advisors, which are not bad. He has good advisors. That's another good positive. He has a couple of dentists. He has like an ENT, I think. So he's covering his grounds well. And I think he's had a prior exit before, from what I remember. So he's not naive.
Okay, do we have any we can start voting. I mean, we went through most of it, didn't we?
One finds, is it really truly unique? It's early competition, organization, those are the comments. Just maybe too early.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he didn't say what the cost would be for the second grade, right?
5,000.
5,000?
It's comparable to CPAC.
5,000 for 3 years.
5,000 for 3 years?
Yeah, you gotta replace it every 3 years, which is the same price as a CPAP, the rental for 3 years.
Comparable to CPAC.
His battery dies basically after 1,000 charges is probably what it is.
CPAC for 10 years.
And your teeth move.
Never replaced?
They don't,
You don't
cure it.
remove
It's just,
the
they
small
they
problem.
don't cure it.
You rent it or you?
It's not a time when.
No,
Can't cure it.
there's no cure.
Yeah, removing the tongue is probably not the best solution, but.
There's something out there.
It is so, it's a document. It's legit. I think they do that somewhere in.
Okay, one conversation, please, and also please start voting.
All right, Jeff, you're on target with 624 last time. What was your number this time?
I have a hard time with this one, but I'm gonna go 5.3.
Yeah, I agree with you.
JJ.
5.36.
5.36, is that what you said?
Yeah, he did that in the
It's the actual number without going.
5.0.
I'm waiting for JJ to start the 3 decimal club.
I know.
Well, I mean, that's not hard. All we had to do is get startups there to average to that decimal. Okay. Are we good with voting?
Yeah.
Give it another 30 seconds. Why don't you do this on the dance and we're waiting?
I'm at a meeting, I gotta go to. Or else I do everything for you. Not at 1 o'clock.
Okay, how about with your meeting? Okay. Oh.
I never thought, things I never heard, I think I'd heard Frank say.
Got a 1 o'clock meeting.
You giving away your lunch?
You're gonna have my lunch.
I thought that's why you came.
The meeting is more.
All right.
They have a
You know what? They might be.
You offer it to me and you offer it to him. Who gets it?
You split it to be suffering.
Yeah, one person can eat the whole thing.
Okay.
All right, we ready?
Have a good one.
What's the number?
Over 5.366.
I'd like to see him come back with anything, because I think he may be on something.
I think so. I do like the.
5.7, not bad.
7.5, huh?
And the 5. Okay, go to market is doubtful. But the opportunity is big because we know it's a lot of people with that issue. Okay, because it's under 6, I'm gonna assume we're not gonna push it.
You know, I think the crux of it for this one is that it's probably a decent solution, but it's not that elegant.
Well, I think it's very elegant. She looked at the work.
I don't know. I mean, you gotta go back every 3 years. It's got probes, you gotta chart. I mean, it's just not,
Yeah,
it's
but
cumbersome
Jeff,
still.
No, Jeff, think about it. If you don't have to wear this monster machine.
Yeah, I have one. I
Better
don't
than
like it.
CPAP,
It sucks, but it still sucks though, what he's talking
Why don't
about.
we do this, Alton, why don't you tell him he's gonna go early now, and then when he gets to the next stage, when he has a little more traction, more people on his team, to come back, because I think it's really cool as it looks.
Yeah, tell him to
I
come
do
back.
too.
Current
Yeah.
CPAP, you gotta see your doctor every year anyway.
Yeah, right, Jeff?
But yeah, you tell him to come back after he gets his NSF answer.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think he's really validated the technology either, so I agree, I think it's a little bit too early. We don't really know if it works, you don't know how comfortable.
Works
it
on
is.
him.
You don't know.
He showed you the chart.
But that was his example for everything. Well, I tried it and this is what happened. Like that's his whole sample size is like.
Yeah, sample size of
So
1.
it's too early. I think it's not validated yet whether it really works or not.
I agree.
I would tell him to get to Jeff and give him a sample and see if it works on Jeff.
There you go. I'll go sleep on his sofa, because that picture was me.
Yeah, you'll sleep on it, I know.
Tell him one of our members will volunteer and that's his
Yeah.
bridge to funding.
Yeah,
That's the
I think
bridge
that's
to
a good
funding.
one, yeah.
And I got a friend that has a seat and he would travel together.
Just tell him
Yes,
Daddy work
so
on
he
it.
would be an example that he would try it.
No. It's gotta be our member.
Oh, our
Jeff
member.
funding, That's his.
Jeff is
bridge to
interested
funding.
in trying it.
Okay, that's his bridge. Okay, got it.
Okay, anyway, next,
Moonrise.
sunrise, moonrise. bridge.
That's me. All right, so he has great testimonials. He has reimbursement code. He has 1 patent granted plus 4 more in process. It's a class 2 with a clear 510K pathway, and it has a potential early exit in 2026. Those are other positives?
You put it like that, it sounds so good.
Well, we gotta get to the concerns, but any other comments positive about,
You know,
things like?
from pre-screen, I remember he said he had like 30 physicians on his cap table that were KOL. So that's interesting and helpful. He didn't mention that here.
That's something that he should mention. Somebody, whoever gives him feedback, he needs to be mentioning that.
How about the doctors saying, is this a big issue? Is this a problem, or is this a better mousetrap? It's gonna change workflow, behavioral issues with the doctors?
I mean, maybe. I mean, you do have to tie up a tech, right, to do this stuff. And his answer on sort of the value prop, yes, it's true. You can churn through more if it really is that the techs are just completely booked out throughout the day. If that's the case, then yeah, you could definitely invest in this machine and then do more procedures.
You don't sound convinced, Steve. You don't sound convinced.
I mean, I had to look at the PAT, this pedal acceleration time, just to make sure. I mean, that's the core thing here. Is it really a good evidence of wound healing? The first thing Claude said was no, there's no evidence, and then I pushed on it, and then it said, yeah, actually there is a lot of evidence. So I don't know. We'll have to look at that in diligence. But if there is evidence, then maybe. What's hard for me is to figure out that you've already got this ultrasound, you already got this tech, and then you're going to spend umpteen dollars on another machine in the office. That might make sense. I mean, you probably would do a lot of these, so we'd have to kind of just vet the economics.
What are other concerns you all have about this? Valuation was 9 million cap, by the way.
That's not as
That's not as
bad.
bad, no?
But I personally don't like having hardware software play. Because it's just not as simple as streaming. To me,
Well, that is their play, right? Because they don't have any IP there. That I worry about scale, like how many offices truly need this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
But they only focus on 100 top centers, so it's not like everywhere. You don't need to access 6,000 hospitals in US. You just need to go to 100.
Good. Also, reimbursement. Can you get the same reimbursement if you take the tech out of the equation? Or
He said he can.
yeah, I'd like to push on that.
They're taking half of that.
Say that again?
They're taking half of the reimbursement.
Yeah, I think it's like 150 reimbursement.
150. Little bit more.
Okay. Any other ones, concerns, issues? All right.
I still don't think the value proposition is there. It's not clear.
Yeah, it's not slam dunk yet.
Something nice to have.
Maybe it is faster, or maybe it is there to, because they're still going to do the full diagnosis to find out which artery is clogged.
I don't think so.
But if it's real time,
No, I don't.
real time surgery, you can find out if that's success or not. You don't have to go back and collect it again.
No, I don't think you have to do the diagnosis again, right? If it's not getting enough blood, the wound is not going to heal. Your answer is surgery, like period.
Right, then
So
you go to
then,
the next step, yeah.
right, and then you stop the surgery. You can do the surgery faster if you can know whether or not you've opened up enough blood vessels.
Okay.
All right, I got enough.
Okay. Please start loading.
Olga, you're awful quiet. You don't have foot perfusion, do you?
I worked in that space, so I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
That last-
everybody.
All right, what's the number, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't have a feel on this one. Four
Take it to
nine.
the high fives. Yeah.
Five. You think high fives? I don't have a feel on this one.
6.1.
No.
I'm with JJ on that. I feel 6-1, 6-1-2.
I'd say a 5.
I can't even vote in this one. My stupid thing's not working.
Yeah.
What?
It's working now. And then I say 7.
It's working now. Yeah.
You say 7?
Well, it's not working here.
Is your dashboard working? Mine's
No,
frozen.
Yeah,
Mine
my,
works.
my app is not working either.
Steroid died. The server is dead.
I'm going
They
5.9.
say it's not working, the voting is not working.
That's not good.
Right.
Yeah,
Voting is not
voting,
working.
it's not pulling up.
Well, I think the answer was definitely 611 then.
Or Moonrise?
Yeah, Moonrise. Can you check, or maybe just
I don't like the name of the company.
Reload
Moonrise.
it
I think
again.
it's like,
Yeah. I voted earlier and I was fine.
Startup, I think Startup Steroid's doing some platform fixes.
With
Yeah, I've been complaining about
show
speeds.
that on TV. Moonlighting, you know.
Are you able to pull anything?
I'm trying to reload it right now.
Okay.
JJ?
I was in it voting, and then when I clicked on submit, everything disappeared.
I have a feeling they're redoing their back end again.
Or JJ broke it.
I didn't, I've been texting with Ashish to help to fix it, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to just reload the page and it's not.
No, I can't even pull any company on Startup Steroid right now.
They're probably, I bet you they shut down the system.
Yeah, the server's down for sure.
I got in before.
Let's see how, just pull up whatever we got. We can't get anything.
It's not like.
No, I think you just have to put your hands up if you're interested.
Just go with slow. Oh, Jen,
How about everyone online, type in your number, and everyone in person, we'll do a manual.
Anyone interested in moving this forward? Let's do it that way.
It's gonna have to.
Yeah, any, just raise your hand.
Raise your
Anyone
hand if
interested
you
in
wanna
moving
see
it forward?
Nobody,
You don't care what
this
this
is
is.
that's what
Right.
to make it.
Okay.
Average
Okay,
of 0 and
let's do
20.
this time machine. I'm doing the note. And
You're doing the time machine?
yes. Okay, Jeff, you wanna start? What do you like?
Yeah, I'll start because I come from sales. My last job was managing the technical training side. So we developed a lot of content and it's a pain. It's really, really hard. Learning management systems really do suck. And even when you get them working, the results are not great. It's not very adaptable. All the current solutions are not adaptable for the individuals. So they do have a lot of potential there. And I agree that they have the background from a management perspective with the AI, and they've done this before, and they probably do have solid sales experience. I mean, I feel like all of those are positives, but and my problem is I think the difficulty to quantify the downsides are hard.
So
Okay, let's stick with the good.
So
part.
here's the good stuff. Co-fund invested 500K. I trust Hisham because he comes out of the training customer service area, so he knows his stuff. So that's a positive.
Should I put trust
Sure.
on it?
Yep, it's good enough for me right now.
He invested 1.5 million himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put in $1
yeah.
million, yeah.
Yeah.
He has 90% progression rate, saying that he has 90% from a lead to convert to the next step. Says he has a proprietary agentic system. That would be a due diligence determination whether or not how good it is or how protective. He has 18 customers with 2 more in the hopper for 100K ARR. I like his land and expand program. The data that you would have is he has a focus on the small business market, so he's not going after the large ones. Should be a better sell. And he has the data that he has will be private, so I think that's real positive. And he has a relatively short amount of time to bring in the data from a company into the system so the AI can work on it. So to me,
short
that's real
onboarding.
positive.
Short
Huh?
onboarding.
Onboarding.
Quick implementation, yeah, and customization.
Okay.
The concerns, competition.
So
this is a big market. Getting to $100 million in this business, which is what his target is, not trivial given the amount of competition and the number of companies playing in this market with better and more funding. So
yeah, I think the crux of it from my side is that the management is extremely, just comes across as extremely confident. And my gut tells me that at the end of the day, this is an execution play, right? Can they, because this tech is probably not hard for somebody else to come in and duplicate, especially with deep pockets, like, especially like a salesforce.com, right? I mean, they could probably pretty quickly develop something like this. So AI, of course, you bring it to a new small customer and they see it and they're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. But the same thing happens for anyone who sees anything AI that makes their life easier. The problem is staving off the competition, continually innovating and driving your sales ramp is very hard to do in order to stay ahead of the competition. So if they even misstep once or twice, I think that's where they lose traction and all potential for acquisition goes.
Yeah, and he needs to broaden out his team. He has only a few people in there. He has engineers. He needs the business people, the sales people, the support people. But, I think that's what he's gonna use some of the raise for. So that's something that needs to be investigated in their due diligence.
Yeah, my concern too is they're going after the SMB market, which is okay to get started, but the real money is in the enterprise deal. And as Jeff alluded to, the big players are gonna, I mean, it's taken them a year to build this. A big player is gonna build it in a year or less. If they really get some traction, and they'll just get wiped out because they already own the enterprise clients.
Yeah, can you imagine if Microsoft decided to focus on this, right?
But Microsoft normally gives it to the Microsoft developer groups that use their bases to develop. So that's what most of the companies are doing. That platform is out there. The developers that they bring in are the ones that really develop the better systems.
But just a point, maybe Isham, this, right? He talked about AWS, which surprised me because Amazon, sure, they have engineers who can do this within hours, but AWS were surprised and liked the offering. So there may be something they have that even Amazon doesn't have. I don't know. That was interesting.
So I asked that question. I was like, what's your value proposition? Why can't the other ones do it? And he says, it's easy to build the first 95% of it, but to solve the hallucination, to actually get it on par is the trick. And they think they had that.
Yeah.
They say they got that part.
Because if that is true, somebody will buy them. I mean, either Amazon or Salesforce.com, or somebody will buy them.
Salesforce can do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the piece that was missing for me was if their strategic plan was to rapidly get on the map with the big people and sell, then I would be more interested. But that's not what their plan is. They're thinking they're going to build this into a big company, and
it feels that way, doesn't it?
You know what it reminds me of, and it could work out. It's like Zoho. Remember Zoho?
Yeah, sure.
If they can, they have to spend the money to establish the brand in the SMB market. That's costs money. That's time and money and energy versus a technical solution. Technical solutions are a dime a dozen, especially in the AI agentic market. It's the way they're going to establish the brand and become more of the top one or two companies in that market.
Hence the execution play, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, David, I think you're right, but we didn't hear that from them is the thing, right? So I didn't hear that is their plan.
That's right.
Well, I trust Hisham to be able to straighten them out.
Well, I like to think those are also part of due diligence, like. Anyway, I think the app's working now, so please get on that.
I think what happened was the Westcliff University internet went down.
Nobody's.
I didn't have problems with other sites.
So, 120, 100 and going up to 120.
Yeah,
I mean, because the projection, like, it seems like next year they're gonna have 2 million. How they getting from 100 to
What was their valuation?
Valuation was.
Try reloading. I just got on.
Eight pre, 10 post.
10 million.
Well, it's 8 million convertible notes, so there's no post, right?
Well, it's 2 million on 8 million cap.
Yeah, with a discount, 7% discount, and 7% interest, 20% discount.
What we didn't talk about, there is a market need for this. I think that's what.
Sure.
And we showed a competitive slide.
There's a market need. And most technology companies, they're probably gonna build their own for their own salespeople. I can tell you, I know of some that already built it. But what about non-technologies, small to medium-sized businesses that need sales training? This will fit what they do, and there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're really gonna continue to sell at $5,000 per user at the small companies like that.
I don't know about the pricing, I'm just saying.
So if I could just add a little bit more color, we demoed the product and spoke to the customer. I think the assumption or the impression is that it's pretty simplistic. It's actually pretty robust, the training content, modularization and material. So when you upload your content, I think it'll be easy for AI companies to take content and create it into some kind of PowerPoint or video or something that you could use for training. I think it'll be only companies that focus on taking your content, turning into training material, that'll turn it into a modularized LMS system, which is what theirs is. So I think you'll be able to cover maybe 80 to 90% of what they do, but in a clunky way, unless there's another company that is building it specifically for sales training in an LMS system. I don't know if that helps paint the picture, but they've got role playing, they've got testing, they've got all this thing built in from the content that you uploaded. I don't think that's something that's going to be easily replicated without somebody who's got the learning know-how to organize it and manage it in a system.
When do they start?
They started selling it, I think they started this year.
Okay, everybody voted?
Couldn't vote.
No, it's good now.
You can now.
It's fixed now.
You can.
I can't do it.
I voted.
Me.
I just voted.
Let's refresh.
Just hit, yeah, reload the page.
Got 14 votes.
6.511.
I'm gonna go 5-9. No, 6-1. 6-1.
I'm gonna go 6.9.
This is the new thing we do.
I go 6.
6-6.
Come on, go high so I can get it.
6-3. I'm gonna go 6-3.
I think this is gonna be the Hisham and Lisa effect. It's gonna be 6-6.
I'm gonna do the square root of 47.
Plus one.
All right, I think we're good.
Let's see.
Survey says.
Many screens.
Oh, I was-
Wow.
6-4. Somebody was close.
I said
I was
6-3.
sorry.
I got that 6.5, I did it.
6.1.
Highest scoring company of the day.
The big issue is gonna be the technology and whether or not it's sustainably different. And then
Yes.
and how they're gonna progress it.
Execution
Okay.
play.
The execution play.
Okay, so, well. I want to, can I see a raise of hand that anyone that are interested in this deal? Okay, ready, Kyle?
Yep.
Kyle, Nancy, Pat, David, Freeman, Brad, JJ, Muru, John, Sylvia, Matt, Glenn.
He just said who's not interested.
Did you get Hans?
Hans, oh, I'm sorry, from this angle, I didn't see Hans's hand.
Yeah, Randy, George.
Glenn,
Randy.
Randy, George. Okay, I should have said.
Does anyone
I
want to
should
be
have
the
said,
elite?
raise your hand if you're not interested. Don't be Phil.
Does anyone want to be the deal lead on this one, considering the amount of interest? So it doesn't fall through.
But I don't think the DOE is gonna be as bad because co-fund already had a.
Oh, what? We just copied the deal.
Exactly.
Well, that's once something is out there, it's just a matter of updating it.
But it's still good to establish one if someone's interested.
But we still need somebody who wanna lead it. I mean, we can,
Honestly,
Jeff, are you interested since?
I already
the
signed
other
up for one today. Don't you dare call
I'm
me.
just-
That one didn't go through.
I only see one hand remaining.
You have a good background in this one. Would you be the deal lead?
He didn't raise his hand.
He did.
Did
No, I
he?
did not. Who?
Randy and me. Raise your hand.
No.
I see one hand still up.
Yeah, Glenn?
Glenn's hand is up.
Glenn, are you interested?
Thanks, Glenn.
Not anymore.
You're muted.
Do we have a deal in?
You know what?
Hey,
We'll find.
I'll lead it.
Yay!
I'll help.
Yeah, Brad will help.
I've never done before, so it'll be good.
Yeah, Brad would help.
I'll
Perfect.
be your mentor. on that.
Okay, so.
Hey, we
right
did go forward on the first one though, right, Birch?
now, we went through Birch, but you
Yeah.
were volunteering on
I
the
I
second
volunteered
one.
on Birch as
Oh,
lead.
I thought you were volunteering on your assignments. Okay, thank you, clarified.
I'll go through.
Okay,
Okay.
now we're gonna discuss our follow-on deal. But before we do that, I wanna, are all the people online part of our members?
Yep. Saw her's on.
Who?
Saw her.
Who's that?
Saw her. Am I saying that right?
Shara.
Sahara, like the Sahara Desert.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sound the same.
Sahara.
Okay, well, so this is what I wanna cover. Our fund is depleted down to a very low amount, so we probably only have enough money to do one more deal. We've been kicking around, trying to figure out how to get around that, because we're in September, so we got 3 more months to go. There's some members that being a long-time member, but they're not contributing to the fund. We don't have a big fund this year to start with, and so there are some ideas, and I need a survey for it. One of the ideas is we'll still do our pre-screening, but we're gonna cut down our screening to once a month, because what's the point doing all these screening if there's not sufficient funding to fund the deals, right? So, that's one option. The other option is what, David? The SPV, I believe.
The other option is go back to what we did before we had the fund, develop an SPV or go have the lead, try to find additional people to invest directly.
But that's not gonna be the time. We only have 3 months left for the year. I just wanted to disclose that first, right? So the good news is we have enough deal that people are interested, and so we exhausted our fund. The bad news is running out of money.
We do have 2 or 3 deals that are ready for fund recommendation currently, so we do have a lot of good deals in the pipeline. We just need the fund to follow through.
Did you guys complete the Life Seal Vascular one, Kyle?
Life Seal, yep, that was approved. That's gonna be funded soon. So we, Life Seal Vascular.
Did we tell them?
Okay, one thing I can suggest
Yes.
is, if you like the deal that we have, there's no reason you can't like contribute more to the fund. I mean, that's one suggestion.
How much more would you be looking to raise?
Well,
I mean, we have 2 companies that are pretty much pushing for a fund recommendation currently, so that's 300,000. I mean, we do have 142 left.
no, we have to have some reserve.
I know, that factors in reserve.
And remember, even if you're not a member of TCA, but you know of people that are accredited and want to be a member, we have a fund-only membership available to them. Think about your friends, your family that may want to join, we'll leave it open.
Okay, so
Matt, is it a requirement yet to invest in the fund?
For new members.
So only new members?
But just me, I'm not one of the members, but I don't think it's a bad option to start requiring it.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been member for a long time, but they don't put it in the fund. It's almost like the fund's mostly contributed by the newer member. The older the members are, the less they're.
Why are you looking at me?
So. You're my snake. Anyway, I just want to announce that. So if you see us just doing one screening a month, that's the reason. We haven't finalized it yet.
When we do that, we're gonna be even more restrictive on the ones that
Yes.
go through.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You need to increase the voting criteria to cut the threshold.
That's what she would do. That's what we would do.
But interesting, right? Say, for example, time machine, like everybody's interested.
Right.
And if it goes through, do we have money or do we go back to the SPV round?
Well, I think, the old way we used to do it, I mean, Sean, before we started the fund, remember, we used to just go either SPV or direct deposit, direct investment.
Yeah, but it's a much bigger check for each individual.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm suggesting the SPV. If we go sidecar or SPV hub, it's only like 7,000 or 8,000 total. So if you get 150,000 out of individual investors, you can do 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, that's just so much more work.
It's
so much
it's
cost.
much more work for the deal.
Hans, were you trying to say something?
No.
Well, at the end
Go
of
ahead,
the
say it.
day, the essence of angel investing was, to start with, was people cut their own check and get on the cap table of each company. And then we spin the model in 2000, and when Sean was the president and David, they kind of formed the idea of having a fund.
She's
Which
on
makes a
your
lot of
fault,
sense.
Another problem.
I'm saying it's great and innovative, but this year, right now, this is what we're running into.
Well, listen, if people can't cut a check for 10 or 20 grand to the fund, they're not gonna cut a 10 or $25,000 check to a company.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know if I agree, because if they get to come here with their membership dues and then just nitpick what they want to invest in, then their funds aren't going towards what the group says. It's exactly what they want it to go to. So I think they're more inclined.
Yeah, but I mean, a 10 or 20K spread out fund, I can't see that being a limiter to somebody being in the.
I agree with that.
And then doing 25K sidecars for the ones they're interested in.
Right, that's the whole theory behind it, the fund plus the additional. I agree with you.
So I guess the answer is, if there's no interest in the fund, or there's no money in the fund, we can have either the minimum investment, 25K per individual, like we've always had, in sidecars. Or if a lot of people are interested at small amounts, do an SPV, but
it's a lot of work.
There's a lot of work, a lot of cost. I just don't see that. I don't see that happening.
I don't like this PV to start.
It would be a lot easier just to put more money in the fund and invest in it than do a separate SPV.
And FYI, from the ACA perspective, not every angel group has funds, and they do the sidecars or the SPVs, or they go individual. I think, for example, it's not Ohio, it's the one in Cincinnati.
But I gotta share this, because the only reason why they're here is because we have funds.
Well,
They wouldn't have come to try to get multiple people on their cap table at smaller check sizes, just too much work.
Correct.
So it was an attractive thing, not only for OC to have a fund, but other branches, the LA and so forth, have funds, and we can fast track it.
Correct.
So if they're gonna have to do a lot of work for $50,000, my guess is, like the Cove and others won't bring those cap deals if we don't have something that we could easily say, yes, you're getting at least this, and it's easy to syndicate.
That's a really strong argument for, the companies. We want the best companies, and they're going to come if we have a fund. If they get picked to death on terms and different SPVs, it's like, 1,000 cuts. On the investor side, I think, the Joe Gatto, John Harbison data suggests you got to have 80 companies in your portfolio if you're hoping for one of them or two of them to make you a 3x or a 5x.
You said
8?
20. It's 20,
80.
right? 80.
I thought it was 80.
The number was 20 from the last presentation we had. 2025.
Okay.
Just some more data to share real quick. New fund, their fund, I believe, is making a decision on a $500,000.
Right, because they're at about a 3.5.
As just a fund, plus their sidecars.
Right.
And they see much better deals than we do. We made the pitch that between all the branches, we're about $500,000 from funds.
Right.
And then sidecars. So as collectively TCA, we're competitive. I think if we lose that, it's gonna be a hard sell to keep getting, like George said, it's gonna be a hard sell to get the good companies coming.
I think I would suggest that you put a poll out there to see how much money people would be willing to put into a fund. Because I could probably put in, I don't know, another increment, 20, 30, 40 if necessary, right? But you need 10 people or so to get you up to about 500. That'll float you through the end of the year. I mean, that's your best option. Is everybody is coming to the conclusion that a fund is a benefit to the group. So
I agree.
individually, right? So individually, what are we saying? You're going to diversify by 3 or 4 more incremental companies at a relatively negligible cost per. You just don't get the very specific choice of which ones, right? But I mean, that's still not a bad bet for the rest of this year.
Plus, you're getting essentially a free look at what's
I
already
think
invested.
I think you move back towards the goal of making it a requirement. And even for the people that aren't sold on funds, which I know a lot of older members aren't, the 10K minimum should be nothing.
Yeah.
It really is. The 10K
shouldn't.
minimum should be nothing, and then you sidecar and all the ones you're really interested in.
But I don't think you can do that this year.
Not just with you, Hans, but at least the funds get to track these deals that you don't care for that much. For follow-ons and whatever, where then you can sidecar at a later.
Hey, Sean, I think you cannot. I don't think you can make the change in the approach this year. Like we've already agreed that you pay your membership dues. These are the requirements. This was the expectation. You can't say all of a sudden now everybody's required to put in 10. Like what I would say is just do a poll, see how much you think you can raise before you do a capital call, right?
Jeff, to be fair, it was always part of the rule that you pay membership and you start with the minimum 10K. The problem and the hardship is, how do we reinforce that? Someone's been around 15 years, they just choose to pay membership, they don't put in the fund. What do? Kick them out?
Yeah,
So Pat, it was never a requirement.
So let's put it this way, how many people are in the fund this year?
32.
And we have almost 100 members. That
So-
give you the perspective. And how do I reinforce the other 65?
Well, I think you just wait till the anniversary date when the renewal's up.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, to continue membership.
So that's the fundamental issue, is people are paying dues, but they're not getting in the fund. But how do we reinforce it? How do we?
I think, yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily in our interests to
Just wait
kick
till the
them
renewal
out.
date. We make an announcement, you wait till the renewal date and you say, hey, if you'd like to renew, then here are the new requirements. And they get to decide if they want to do it.
And I can tell you, there are a lot of officers that are not investing in the fund.
So Pat, I think it's a calculation, right? Because you may lose a few people if you kick them out, but at $10,000, how many people are going to leave the organization because of a $10,000 minimum requirement, right? It's not much.
You'd be surprised.
You'll be surprised, Jeff.
You know, and if that's the case, that's probably good. Because if you're not willing to invest 10K in the fund,
80-20.
you're probably not the engaging type member we need.
Yeah.
Now, listen, guys, I was in the fund in the first ones. I don't know, I've invested maybe 200 in the first one, 100 in the second one, and in the third and fourth one, I'm not in it. Because I didn't see the follow-up. I did not get any answers on the fund. I asked, where are we? Nobody knew what the hell we were doing about. There was nobody following up on each one of the investment which we did. So how the hell are you? Now it's a little bit different, I agree. But for the first 2 funds, we absolutely did nothing. Why the hell would I invest some more money in it if nobody follows up? I may as well choose whatever the hell I wanted to invest. And I still investing 300,000-400,000 every year in different things. But I am not going to invest in a fund if we don't follow.
Well, that's the whole thing we're doing now. So
But we do follow up twice a year.
Now we are, okay, but not on the first 2 funds for the first 2 years.
Everything you're saying makes total sense, and I agree with you. That's why when I came on, the very first priority I had was making sure that we started doing regular fund investments. So for that exact reason, because I can't imagine investing into a fund and just going into a black hole and never seeing it again. So I 100% sympathize and I empathize and I totally understand it. But that's why we're doing the biannual reports now. And last thing I'll say, it's easy for me to say as a non-member, non-investor, right? It's not my money. But I'd like to think that everyone that's here seems like they agree that we have this really great community here. TCA is a huge network with a great community. And I like to think that everyone's here because they do love that community and they probably want to see it flourish. They want to see it grow. So by contributing to the fund, I mean, we're contributing towards its growth, towards growing the fund, and then we can start attracting even bigger, better deals, like Hisham said. So that said, if you have the money, if resources. We'd love to see the investment. We'll be able to continue growing the fund.
There are two issues that are on the table. Contributing to the fund that is either for the future when they renew or now. So the fund is going to stay open. If people can want to contribute now, great. The second issue that we need to still go back to is we have limited capital in our current fund. Do we want to cut it down to being more picayune on the pre-screens and then only have one screening per month?
Why don't we have any? We don't have any money.
Well, you still can get money through the normal process
You
of
can
an
not-
SPV or
Yeah.
individuals.
Well, that's why I'm asking people to contribute, because at the end of the day, we still have all these applications in the pipeline. And if we don't do pre-screening, we don't do screening, basically, TCA OC shut down.
You know, they're really two separate items in my mind. If you've got good enough companies to present, you do 2 screenings a month. Personally, I'm not very interested in the med tech, and I know a lot of people are. So I look at the list, and if they're all med tech, and I usually go to 10. So
It hasn't been fairly clear that we're now splitting it down the line.
Yeah, we.
I usually see one
No.
out of the 3 or 4 as
So for the last, I don't want to say year, but definitely the last many months, I make sure that it's 50% med tech, 50% non-med tech.
We work really hard balancing the deal. Even today, this is 50-50.
So maybe what you call 50-50, because I've seen like some of the AI companies that are on medical solutions. So I still count that as med tech.
What's being funded is all the med tech and non-med tech.
So
And just because you're forcing 50% doesn't mean they're any good, right? Because some of them, you sit there and you go, what are you doing?
I think we have been a lot stricter on the screening
Even if they're
process.
split, even if you have them split, what's being funded is life science companies and none of the other ones.
But that comes down to DD teams and that comes down to voting.
But
What's that validating?
I was saying, JJ, that comes down to DD teams and voting. And if people are contributing to Fund 25 and they're part of the DD process, then they get a say in what we're looking at, what we're not looking at.
By the way, I don't mind that we're investing in med tech.
No, I get you.
Med tech
I get you.
companies. Just, I don't have a lot of value to add in those discussions. We have a lot of members that are very skilled in that I would rather hear from than myself.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you for
And
sure.
honestly, since I came aboard, I had to work really hard to buck the train.
You did.
Because
You sure did.
geographically, we are med tech province, a med device dominant location, right? We're in Orange County. And we end up with, most of the deal looks more quality in that med tech side. And then we have to fight really hard to get quality non-med tech deal. And that's how the balance becomes the way it is. And our members sees that. That's how all the voting ended up, and that's how the direction of the deal driven. So geographically, that's the part of the basis of it. But at the end of the day, I think we're having that discussion on this. I just
Well,
want to bring it up.
I was gonna say, to your point, I think maybe it would be smart to move to once a month. At least until we get more funds in.
But can you send out, you said there are 130 members, can you send out a mail saying, we have exhausted the money for this month? We are requesting everybody.
They did. They have
No, it's email to the people that are not in the fund.
No, but you should.
Yeah, maybe you should include the ones that are in the.
We'll send- we'll
fund.
send out-
I understand, but you know,
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
we'll do that next.
I think it's kind of just been an escalation of force. We're just trying to one tactic at a time and it led to this
You go with the
discussion.
low hanging tree, like you're supposed, people that are already in it, we didn't target them, we target the one that haven't come. And that's the other 65, you see what I mean?
But I think it's a good discussion. Maybe the next meeting, if we're going to scale it down, maybe we should have a lengthy discussion about how to plan for the future.
Do we want to maybe establish now that the first screening of October is canceled and then we'll just do it the second one?
Let's see how everyone responded to
Okay,
this and
yep.
see if we get some fun coming in.
Sounds
I'm
good.
hoping that people can double down and the people that aren't in can respond. So this is what the basis of conversation, so we're gonna close that. So there are a couple of things that I wanna cover next. So we have two big events coming up, and I think I announced the October 9th one first. That's called Best of the Best, and it's a whole TCA event. It's gonna happen at the Cove from something like 9:30 to 2 o'clock. And that's TCA OC Orange County, TCA OC LA and Pasadena, all bringing the best deal, and Alliance for SoCal Innovation, because our chairman, Dave DiChapo, is the chairman of TCA and the CEO of Alliance for SoCal Innovation. So this is basically his event, and he's also bringing some of the deals coming in from Alliance for SoCal. So this event is October 9th, and we would like to make it an event that if you have connections that are interested in joining TCA, this would be a good opportunity. You know, if we want to expand our fund, we would, and the advantage to us is those people from LA and Pasadena all have to drive down to Orange County in the Cove at UCI. So this is, in a way, we're kind of half hosting this, and it's really, I'm very grateful because we could have had to drive to LA or Pasadena, but they end up choosing UCI. So this is one good opportunity for Orange County to really promote to any prospect members that you have in mind. Have them come in and join and, you know, be part of the network. And this is a good opportunity. Since we talk about increasing our fund participation, we need more members. And this is a marketing idea for us. And we have the advantage. So I would like everyone to take advantage of it.
What member count are we at?
We're at like close to 100, 96 or 98.
Okay.
We have been stable.
And Kyle, I want to thank you for sending out the calendar invites. Ever since you've been doing that, it's gotten a lot easier for me. Instead of having to manually go upload, I get the invites from you. So if we can send the invite for the October 9th, I don't think I got that one.
Okay.
That would help.
Absolutely.
And it's just easy to put on the calendar.
And publicly apologize. I don't know what's going on with Gmail, but the calendar invite is just sending out rogue invitations to people. So I'll get like a wave of declines or accepted. I'm not sending those out, and I don't know how to stop it. I've tried, but if you're getting a wave of invites, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think they get sent out multiple times sometimes, but you know what? I'd rather have that than not at all.
Well, you're just popular.
Okay, so keep that in mind, October 9th. Let's be responsive, get as many OC member as possible there. It's a screening.
What time?
October 9th, you.
Nine till
look
two.
at the week- 9 to 2.
Free parking.
Free
Excellent
parking,
dinner.
free lunch,
9:45 to 2:30.
yes,
So lunch, free lunch open.
the lunch is provided.
Sounds better than.
And networking, so the difference between this one is, this is all the OC members, I mean, all the TCA member of all network, and all the Alliance SoCal affiliate. So you're also gonna see VCs there, and a lot of investors. So this will be, we're trying to make, you know, hopefully that everyone will support it, so we can hit the 120, 140 head count that Dave DiChapo is hoping to accomplish. And we have to be the big contributor to that, because this is our home.
I've also invited Thai SoCal.
Yes, this is our home turf, so I'm hoping that we have a good time. And then the next one that I want to talk about is on October, what is that Wednesday in October? I keep forgetting the date. Okay, so Orange County, ourselves, October 29th, please put that down. 5 to 9 in the evening at SoCal University. We're doing face-to-face with investors. So I need as many investors as possible. This is an OC only event. And we get all the entrepreneur there, and we have our Price is Right game again as usual. And then we're gonna have like a breakout room, and I could use all the investors in the room to help. We break them out by the sectors, and then we get investors in the room so that in different sector, it could be med device, it could be hardware, it could be AI, it could be software, and then they can ask questions. Brad, this is for you. It's really fun, and dinners light snack dinners provided. And it's gonna be at SoCal University. They really wanna collaborate with us, so we get to use the SoCal University. They have a theater. It's really cool room. So I like everyone to help on this event as well, because this is our
5 to 7?
5 to 7. It starts with 5 for networking and dinner, and then the event starts at 6. should finish about 8:30, but usually we carry till 9 and then we have to kick people out because everybody has so much fun. No, I'm not
It's a
joking.
fun, it's really a fun event.
Yeah, I'm not joking. That is a fact. Every time at the end, we have to usher people out because they're having so much fun networking. So I need all the investors to participate that one as well because it's called face to face with investors. Okay, follow on deal, really quick, Muro.
This one I may need help. There is a company called the Moptic, Fund 21 and Fund 22 invested in it. They're asking for additional funding. If not, the previous investors will lose about 80% or will be diluted to 80%. David, you and Kyle may have a lot more information.
Is it a pay to play type thing?
Yeah, it's a pay to play, otherwise you get diluted 4-1.
But it's
So
like-
The issue is real simple. We have invested in 2 other funds, 21, 22, I think. If we do not, and it's, I think, $13,000, we have to contribute right now to make sure that the conversion's 1-to-1 converted.
But it's like $13,000 though. It's minimal, but
So the question is, we don't have a mechanism in our funds to be able to do this. The logical thing from a TCA perspective is for the members in Fund 25 to take the $13,000, they get their share, and that helps the people in the earlier funds, many of whom in 25 are also members in the early fund. That would be the logical thing, but you need the vote of the 25 members to do that. And I think the way we do it, Miru, why don't we talk offline and we put together a recommendation and then let the fund decide, otherwise it's a 4-to-1 dilution.
That's one
Now,
of-
we also have another thing on the table. Gerard offered to take the entire 13,000 if he were to split 50-50 with the accretion, not only in the new shares, but in the old shares. That's a very steep thing, but it may be the best backup if we can't get 25 to 50.
Yeah, we've dealt with this before, so we present it to the fund 25. If it's valuable enough for the new fund as a standalone investment, they vote on it. If it passes, it's easy. If not, we go back to the fund 2021 members, present it to them, and the individuals have the option to invest and cover that. So they get to preserve that and get.
Okay, George, real quick, anything you want to cover?
Yeah, real quick, Makani Science, if you enjoy breathing, you'll remember that that's a company we've invested in a couple times in Orange County. And I'm up in Sand Hill Angels, leading the deal for them for a follow-on financing. So Greg's done a great job turning it around, and it looks like we'll be able to raise money.
Okay, great, thank you. I think we run really long this one, so meeting adjourned. Thank you for all for coming.
George, you're probably working, you know, by the time we get it.
Hey,